Welcome to South Harmon.
What's up, everybody? Wednesday night AMA. We are live and in the building. We had last week off, New Year's Eve, Adam. You were supposed to be out of town. Didn't work out that way, but still, New Year's Eve, we had to get hammered. I got hammered. I don't know about you. Yeah.
I did not bring in the New Year hammered this year. Nice. A whole bottle. Wow.
Whole bottle. Just one glass.
You drank for me, obviously. I was drinking, but some Christmas ales, nothing too crazy. I had a nice little buzz, but nothing like a bottle. Nothing quite like a bottle. Well, speaking like a bottle, there's some people crying, man. We got people crying to start the new year. A lot of different reasons, but what are some of your thoughts on this coaching carousel, if you will, so far?
A couple surprise firings. We heard some rumblings that some people would be on the hot seat that didn't make a lot of sense, and then to see teams actually follow through with it, you went, "Oh, okay, this is legit."
Yeah, and then you have you could argue, teams that you thought would get rid of coaches that didn't. In Tampa Bay, you're like, "Oh wow, all right, so they're keeping Bowles. They're going to keep Bowles." Wow, okay, here we are.
I mean, no offense to the guy too, but just the way you said it, Bowles, just balls,
yeah.
Balls.
Well, I mean, this year felt. I guess it felt really disappointing the way in which they continued to try to get more people on the field and more healthy, and it didn't culminate. So, but anyway, let's start with Mike. We'll pretend in the new year it's the holograms.
All right.
How about Kevin Stefanski and the Browns? We started off with he's no longer the coach of the old Cleveland Browns. What are your generic thoughts? I have a few, but I just want to say this. I think for him, this might be the best case scenario for him, honestly.
Other than losing your job, in the immediate, having to uproot your family, that part sucks. But
that's not. I live here. It's not that bad, honestly.
Unless it's the New York Jets, the next situation he's going to wind up in is going to be better. How about that?
Well, definitely. But I mean, Mike, the reason I say that is right. So let's pretend. Let's play the game that he's the coach for the Browns going into next year, right? At that point, if he was, you'd have to think, considering he's fired right now, he'd be on an incredibly short leash, right? And they don't have anything to speak of really going into next year, even if they draft well, that makes you say, oh man, they're ready to turn it around next season. So for him, you go into any other scenario where it's like, okay, I have a whole new he's very likely to be a head coach somewhere, and he's going to have a whole new set of terms there.
For him, I probably dive into my conspiracy bag the hardest with him. Because one, I think his resume, especially with what he did in Cleveland, it's not an easy place to win. It's not a great franchise since they've been back in Cleveland. He's, in my opinion, he's a very good coach. Now, the conspiracy side of it goes, he didn't do what the ownership and what the GM wanted. Okay, and this is stemming back to they ran the draft. They obviously didn't take quarterback in the first round. They ended up taking Dylan Gabriel. Then they took Shedeur Sanders, and that kind of felt like that was either a GM or an owner's call, financially, money-wise. Shedeur becomes the hot topic in the offseason. He becomes the hot topic in training camp. He becomes the hot topic in preseason. Shedeur Sanders sells jerseys in Cleveland. People who aren't Cleveland Browns fans buying Shedeur Sanders jerseys. Shedeur becomes instantly one of the most popular players in the league without even playing it down. And then you see how the start of the season plays out. We hand the reins over to 87-year-old Joe Flacco and let him go out there because, in Stefanski's opinion, this is the best way for us to win football games. And he's not necessarily wrong. Then they make the switch to Dylan Gabriel when Joe Flacco is ineffective and looks old.
Well, go ahead. Keep going. I want to let you finish before I go on my tangents.
So they hand it off to Dylan Gabriel. Gabriel does not play well. Gabriel looks horrible. The fan base at this point has reached a fever pitch of we want to see Shedeur. And still Stefanski defies all calls, whether that was from ownership, GMs, fans. He felt none of the pressure to play Shedeur and actually advocated against playing Shedeur Sanders until Dylan Gabriel gets hurt and he has no other choice but to play Shedeur Sanders, right? Once Dylan Gabriel was going to be healthy enough, I think it was full intention of Stefanski to put him back into the lineup. However, we get Shedeur Sanders' second game, first real start, and Shedeur is the first Cleveland Brown in fucking forever to win his opening start, and now the fan base is hooked. Like there's no turning back on this train now. Like either you play Shedeur Sanders or you can pack your shit right now and start looking for another job. And I think it was just biding time until the end of the season before ownership wanted to get rid of him, because he obviously has no interest in playing Shedeur Sanders, and ownership has a giant stake in, listen, he's selling tickets, he's selling merchandise, he's driving interest in our franchise. And if you're not interested in him, then we're not interested in you being the head coach of this team any longer. So there's my little conspiracy theory trying to lay it all out on the line. I don't think it has anything to do with him as a coach or how he does in the win-loss record or how he calls games or game management. I think it simply boils down to he does not want to play 12, and ownership and everybody else is locked into playing Shedeur Sanders. And I think for me, long-term, Adam, it kind of signals, unless something fucking crazy happens and, you know, Dante Moore are absolutely in love with them, Shedeur Sanders is your day one starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns in 2026, almost no matter what.
Interesting. Well, I mean, I don't really, I guess, I could see the scenario where you make that. I think if that's the case, to me that goes back, and it's really interesting they keep Barry instead of Stefanski in particular, right? Because Barry, I think his jobs that he's done so far, you could put a ton of questions on what he's done to the team. And as far as Stefanski, I mean, he's gotten to the playoffs with Joe Flacco. The person that takes Shedeur Sanders after Dylan Gabriel is setting up anybody for a terrible time. Like, you put more draft capital into Dylan Gabriel, and anybody that, see, here's the thing with Shedeur Sanders, any team that drafted him, he had a following, like a cult following of his own regardless, right? So they were going to go off whether Gabriel played poorly, played great. That was coming. So to me, when they start with Flacco, what was really interesting is, why are we trading him so soon to give the keys to Gabriel? Because all that's going to guarantee is that they're going to lose games. He's not, even if you think Gabriel's ready to play, he's not ready to win a ton of games at that point in his career. All it's going to do is put Shedeur Sanders, like, we got to see Shedeur, and then we do see Shedeur. It's interesting you brought up, because he was the first to win a game, but Mike, he's got the worst quarterback rating of any quarterback in the Browns' first 6 games as a starter.
Yeah, it's horrendous.
So I don't understand any of that. And if that is ultimately a 5th round pick is going to be the demise of a coach here, you don't deserve him, frankly, to me. So
right.
Let's talk about that. Would be my my little spiel on the matter. Where Stefanski, Mike, what were you expecting him to do this year, I guess, is the question, right? Like, what was with the expectation? Roster. Right. Yeah,
with this roster. And for you and I, logical people, not a whole lot. You know, there's probably some crazy Cleveland fans out there who were like, we're going to the playoffs. You know, like they exist. I mean, fucking Dallas has still got a fan base, and they haven't been relevant since 95. So, it is what it is,
Oof.
Right? Like, there's delusional people all up and down the board.
They've been more relevant than us, though, at least. You know.
that is true. At least they sometimes.
Now let's talk then. We've talked about the Browns and where that potentially might go.
Yep.
Yeah, but what do you think for Stefanski moving forward? Where do you think he's?
That's what I was going to ask you, where he lands. Yeah. I personally think it's going to be a head coaching opportunity. I can't tell you where.
For sure.
Really, to me, what it feels like, and I don't know any of the up-to-date rumors and who's talking to who. You know, it's that. We got so much news going on now.
If only we knew the behind the scenes, you know?
We have so much news on the college football front and the NFL front right now without actual, like, games being played. You know, the playoffs start this weekend. That's supposed to be the big thing. Listen, everything everyone's talking about is not gearing up for the playoffs and the matchups and, you know, the college football playoffs. And college football, we're talking about transfer portals and broken NIL deals and where people are going. NFL, we're like, who the fuck's coaching this team? Who's going to coach this team? What are they going to do now?
Doesn't that feel like the madness, though? The reason I think we got to start with this is, like, we want to talk about the teams that are in dire stress. It's almost like in real life, it's more fun to talk about people that are struggling or not doing well. It's a fun topic for people. So I don't know. I mean, as far as the openings, Mike, like there's quite a few of them.
Yeah, I haven't kept up on the rumor mill of who's talking to who, and who's I love this word, who's been canoodling together, who's been seen out to dinner. But to me, if listen, if I got all say in it, it feels like a logical destination for him is the New York Giants as their head coach. Jackson Dart,
I do agree.
Him, the way he runs an offense, the way he can manufacture a running game. They're already a pretty solid defense with a lot of young and up-and-coming talent. It feels like, listen, let's just get this offense under control. You got Malik Neighbors. You got a couple running backs in Scatterbo and Tracy that are pretty damn serviceable, and you think you found your franchise quarterback, and you're going to have a fairly high pick this year. So, again, something to add to the offensive line or another weapon, or, maybe it's a defensive pick and they do something in free agency. But the Giants, to me, feel like a perfect landing spot for Stefanski to go, which sucks because I'm an Eagles fan and I never want to see the Giants have anything nice, and I never want to see them on the come up. So
no, of course
that would hurt.
I would say this, Mike. I thought I still think it's very valid. My only question now is, would they prefer Harbaugh, and would Harbaugh prefer them? I mean, right?
Yeah.
Another
shocker.
Yeah, this one was definitely more shocking than the Browns, but I figured we'd start slow, Mike, and then, just the tip. This one is crazy because you think about it, Mike. It makes me really wonder: is this just a kind of a rash decision, or is there so much more behind the scenes going on than we have any idea about?
I definitely feel there's probably a lot more behind the scenes, especially this is by far and away your most successful head coach in your franchise history. Dude, there till the end for the playoffs this year, even with all the injuries that they had suffered.
Franchise history, because this is the old Browns, right? So, but forget that for a second. Mike, this is he's going to be one of the best tenured winning coaches, period.
Yeah, he kind of felt like another AFC North staple that's just never going to lose their job unless they go on a historic run of 4-win seasons in a row
right.
and look absolutely inept. Like, listen, you got the job until we decide you don't have the job no more. Like, you're going to have to actually lose it, not miss out on the playoffs by a last-second field goal. That's the thing to fire you. So, to me, that says there's a lot more going on behind the scenes than we ever knew.
Yeah.
You kind of heard some of the rumblings about it. They struggled on defense, especially in the early part of the season. But to you and I, that was, they're so injured.
They got gashed with injuries. Completely gashed.
I think there's some ownership disconnect where they're like, our defense wasn't up to Ravens standards. And Harbaugh, by all accounts, wanted to bring back the same defensive coordinator and run the shit back. Like, we're running this back, without a whole lot of changes. And it seems like they didn't like it. But Adam, to me, like the stuff that's come out, I'm like, it still doesn't really feel like enough. It doesn't feel like that's enough to fire this guy over.
I mean, I agree with you. I think what's really interesting is that, though, I guess a couple things. One, we at the moment, unless my math's off, might get seven job opportunities, head coaching, right? Yep. You can maybe fact check me on that. I could be wrong, but I think it's 7. And the reason I'm saying is really interesting is, one, okay, Mike, the Ravens now. Let's think about the Ravens before we talk about Harbaugh. You're obviously moving on, but who are you going to go get right now? Like, the top 2 candidates, I think, you obviously have a handful of guys that aren't going to be retread, right? Guys that just got fired that are hot names. But, I mean, we're talking about 2 of the hotter names as far as head coaches right now. So that's another thing. Who are you bringing in with a team that's, I mean, by all accounts, Mike, as ready as you can probably have a roster to go win?
Yeah, that probably has to be the best opening in football, right? By far away.
Because the other teams, you can kind of see the writing on the wall, right? Like, which one of the teams, Mike, that got the Giants, right? The Browns, the Falcons, the Raiders, the Titans. I mean, which one of these jobs did we not expect to really be open? I mean, Arizona, right? I mean, it's by far and away Baltimore.
It is 7. I fact checked you. It is 7.
Cool. All right, got it. So with the 7 openings, I think the best job is the Ravens by far. I don't know who they're going to end up getting. You would imagine they'd have their pick of the litter outside of obviously Harbaugh, but
which would be absolutely hilarious. we kick off the show with Stefanski and Harbaugh.
Well, do you think they switch places?
Harbaugh will not go to Cleveland. I can tell you that much. There's fucking zero chance. But Stefanski going to the Ravens would be fucking hilarious.
That would be insane. I feel like there's no way. But that would be hysterical. Where do you think Harbaugh would like to go if he had his pick outside of the Ravens? Obviously. Because the other teams kind of feel like they really have they might have pieces that you're excited about, right? But they have there's a ton of building blocks to be had to get these teams to become legitimate contenders.
I'm putting myself in the shoes of if I'm that coach, and I'm trying to understand what their strengths and weaknesses and what they want to do. And these are my choices of jobs, right? Like if I'm Stefanski, by all means, Baltimore is probably the best situation, but it feels like I would like to go mold Jackson Dart into what the fuck I want as my offensive.
Yeah,
but if I'm Harbaugh,
what about Atlanta?
If I'm Harbaugh, I want to go to the Atlanta Falcons as my next destination.
I agree. Well,
that would be my preferred one.
They have a lot of the pieces. They would have the closest thing as far as a semblance of a roster. I guess at that point too, you gotta factor in, believing in Penix, right? And what the situation is there versus do you really believe in a Dart? So it'll be interesting to see though. I thought it was kind of funny. The first thing and the only thing that Harbaugh said is I've already had 7 calls, which is hilarious considering I just told you there's 7 openings and one of which is Baltimore.
Right. This is the Baltimore call you back and be like, hey.
Like, man, people are just hurt and petty, but hey, it's all right. I'm not mad. I'm not counting.
You ever back in the day, you ever had that, that girlfriend that was pretty good and you're like, it just isn't really working out. So you call her up one night because you've been drinking and you're like, this ain't working out, babe. Like, we're done. All right, we're done. And then like next morning, you're like, I should give her a call and be like, I was just kidding. Just kidding. You weren't that bad.
I never did that. I never did that. Not 24 hours later, but definitely sometimes you're like, oh, damn. Like, you look back, like things were kind of not bad over there.
Yeah.
I think Baltimore could be in that mix. Let me ask you, as far as the worst opportunity or the worst job, if you had to pick one right now, which one would you go with? Because there's a handful.
Man, I'm torn between two. I'm gonna go, surprisingly, with the Arizona Cardinals edging out the Las Vegas Raiders as the worst fucking position.
Well, and it's interesting because at least those two spots, you feel like you're in quarterback land, right? I mean, in a big way, especially if you're figuring, everything coming into Arizona is moving on from Kyler Murray. You're like,
and
okay.
that is the primary reason, because the Cardinals are in a more difficult position, picking a little bit further down the draft order. At least the Vegas Raiders, if whoever they decide to come in, if they fall in love with one of these quarterbacks, they have the opportunity to take them.
Sure.
The Cardinals are at the will of the teams picking in front of them and what's left over in the draft.
But you could also, I 100% agree. You could also argue, though, that the Raiders are in, like, they don't have anything, right? I mean, they have players. You got Crosby, but who knows, right? Crosby, you got the talent of Jeanty, but the whole offensive line feels like it's awful. There's so much, I think, less opportunity as far as talent around what you bring that quarterback into, right?
The other thing is money. $60 million in cap space difference between those two teams.
Very much
the
true.
Raiders have a giant pile of clay that they can mold into. They could do something similar to what we saw with the Patriots this past year. Now, not as quick as the turnaround, but you saw the Patriots get the quarterback.
It works really well
May.
when you get Drake May, right?
They get their quarterback in Drake May. They suffer through his first year, but then their second year, they are loaded with cap space, and they go out. They get their head coach. They mold that roster kind of into what they want, and now we're sitting here talking about New England Patriots in the playoffs. Massive turnaround. Up 11 wins or whatever the fuck it was from the year before. Like, the Raiders have that opportunity. The Cardinals are sitting here right now with 25 million cap space before they make cuts, and they'll get that number up, but it's not going to come close to the 88 million the Raiders got sitting here right now, going like, we can make it rain in this son of a bitch. Who wants to come to Vegas?
Fair. No, that's very fair. I think that you could argue, Mike. It probably depends also for Cleveland if So for example, right, you got a GM. They used day 3 pick on him, but let's say that Barry and company wants Shedeur to be the quarterback. I mean, you got a bunch of coaches that assumingly they didn't believe very much in Shedeur at one point because they would have drafted him higher too, right? Exactly. So like, I don't know that like Vegas and Cleveland to me could be pretty similar, where like, you get to pick your quarterback in Vegas at least, right? And outside of that in Cleveland, it's like, okay, they got Garrett and what else, right? So
yeah,
I think Cleveland's definitely in that mix, but
you had a real exciting young running back, but the fantasy gods, the injury gods said we're gonna fuck you over on that one too. By the way, you get nothing.
That was fun.
Here, have a sack.
We have Jerry Jeudy though. We have Jerry Jeudy, Pro Bowler from last year.
Steve Smith's best friend.
All right, enough coach talk, coach speak. It'll be interesting to see though, Mike. And this was one thing I did want to say. I don't know that he got a call from them, but I wouldn't be surprised, Mike, if somebody was like, "Wait a minute, Harbaugh's out there," and kick. I'm trying to remember though. That was what I was going to ask you. Have we ever seen that happen before? Have we ever seen a coach get fired and then a coach get fired subsequently because of that firing? I can't recall one. But Harbaugh, I think, presents that opportunity. Really.
Yeah, I think he does too. I mean, we've seen some wild stuff with coaches getting traded for first-round picks. So
yes, we have.
So maybe we'll get that situation.
If anyone remembers in the comments, let us know, because I was going back and just thinking. I didn't really do any research on it. I don't recall one. I'm sure. I'm not saying it hasn't happened. I just can't remember.
We've had to have one. We've had to have one at some point where it's like, oh, I didn't know you were going to be available. Hey, buddy, get the fuck out.
Hey, listen, we appreciate you. We were gonna re-up with you, but things changed.
Listen, I'm throwing shit at the wall at him. But if that situation were to happen, like that comment on there, it's a team who already has a head coach reaching out to find out. Listen, I'm just going to throw the name out there, but at one point, this guy should have been fucking fired in season, and I understand what he did last year. They love him, but still. Dan Quinn, get the fuck out of Washington, man. Like, you almost single-handedly ruined this fucking franchise. One, putting Jane Daniels back out there and playing him into a fucking fourth quarter of a meaningless fucking game, fresh off an injury, and almost ruining this fucking kid forever.
That's an interesting one, especially because you got to figure, Harbaugh, if that opportunity became available, would be like, oh, that's different, right? Like that. I like that.
Yeah, this is Lamar, just a.
I could see this guy being, over again. Yeah, Lamar lighter, Lamar younger version. So yeah, interesting there, Mike. Listen, I think at this point, nothing's confirmed, right? But there's enough buzz on some Rashee Rice in the news for the wrong reasons again. Can I tell you this too? One of the reasons, before we get to the Rashee thing here, one of the reasons this really bothers me, I am so ready to not talk about the Chiefs this whole offseason, or at least this playoff run, in particular. And it just whether it's an announcer talking about Patrick Mahomes in a game that he's not playing in, or Rashee's back in the news. Listen, here's what I'll say, right? You have the scenario of Quinshon Judkins. You have where there wasn't, I guess, really much there, right? Or she didn't turn it in a quick enough time period. Right now it's he say, she say, but what she's saying and the images are disturbing. So you also have a player that has a history of not good things off the field. So, this is, I don't know what your thoughts are on the matter at this point. So It's early in the game.
I got quite a few on this one in Rashee. So I'm one of the biggest advocates, especially when it comes to fantasy football and dynasty football, because listen, you gave one good example of Quinshon Judkins. What about Rashee's teammate Xavier Worthy? In the offseason,
plenty of the examples. Yeah.
Look, I do not advocate at all for any type of domestic violence. So let me just make that fucking clear. I have 3 fucking beautiful daughters of my own, and I would absolutely murder somebody if they were to put their fucking hands on my daughters. Okay. I'll say this, though. We have seen enough cases of he said, she said, no evidence. We've seen Xavier Worthy attempted extortion. We've seen enough of this with high-profile athletes that have turned out to be bullshit long after the fact that people have buried these people, like absolutely buried them. And don't get me wrong, there are plenty of scumbags in the NFL. There's plenty of scumbags throughout the world who do terrible things to women, and they deserve to be locked up or neutered, whatever you want to do to them.
Sure.
But there's also enough cases of bullshit just being made up to try to get money out of them. Somebody's pissed off. This is the easiest way. Because naturally, a lot of people go to this, dude's guilty, for sure. Like, guilty before we know anything. So I am a very big proponent of, let's let the system play out. Let's get all the facts that we can. And then let's make our decision going forward. And if it turns out it's true and he's a piece of shit, then bye forever. Okay, we're done with you.
Yep.
If it turns out it was bullshit, then listen, I also don't want to be the one telling you to fucking sell and, take whatever you can get and run. The Rashee Rice one is a little bit more interesting for a couple reasons. The guy has a very interesting past, okay? We're just coming off of something pretty major, and probably the first sticking point is with the car accident and fleeing the scene, the guy ended up getting 5 years probation off of it. Anybody who's on probation who then has another run-in with the law is at risk of something very, very fucking serious as far as NFL suspension, as far as actual prison time, that kind of stuff. So a guy who already does not have a very good past, he's got incidents with reporters, he's got this felony on his record already. To have something like this pop up right now is absolutely fucking terrifying. If you're a dynasty manager who even if you want to be that person who says, let's let the system play out, this is a little bit more different than a guy like Quinshon Judkins, who we went through this, who had no criminal history past, was not on probation, and wasn't fresh off the NFL already trying to fuck him over for an entire year. Like, this was a guy who had nothing in college, like nothing. This was his first ever incident. I would say if I'm managing a Rashee Rice share right now, I am actively
which
trying
you're
to
not
cash
though,
the fuck
right?
out.
Let's say that, because we've been along for the ride.
Yes.
Excuse me, of you not buying into Rashee. So it's more of a they problem than you problem, right? But if it was you with your one share or many, what would it be now?
Actively shopping.
But let's talk about that for a second. Actively shopping, typically, amidst news of this, you're playing, what's the game with the gun chambers? Just basically, it's Russian roulette essentially, right? It's like,
yes.
Your market is probably significantly down, and anyone that's entering said market is looking to bone you.
Yes, 100%.
So you're actively kind of going into this knowing you're looking to get like 40%, 50% maybe of what his cost was, pre this allegation, right?
I want to say you and I think logically about this, and we already know that we're going to, take a massive hit. For example, if he was, let's call him wide receiver 9 on most people's rankings.
Sure. Top
yesterday,
10, top 12. Yeah, right.
Yesterday before this happened, you and I think about it and we're like, shit, man, if I get out somewhere in the 20s, this would be a win. You know what I mean? That's how we think about it. But then I go to our Discord, and of course, our patrons are on there asking questions and posting polls and active offers that they have in about their Rashee Rice, or they're trying to unload their Rashee Rice shares. And I see some of the shit. I'm like, well, that was an easy one. Fuck. Like, so there is enough people out there if you're trying to, there's enough people out there, Adam, that are looking at a house on fire and like being like, oh yeah, I'll let you, buy insurance on this thing. It's like the fucking place is already on fire. It's already burning, and you're going to give me insurance? Like, all right, here you go. Go ahead and take it.
They're going to come in and, put out the fire, and it's going to be all topical, right? I mean, because that is part of the game you're playing here, though, right? Like, that's why I say it's Russian roulette, Mike, because you don't know, in your league specifically, I would say more often than not, you're probably looking at people that are going to try to, bend you over, get something that's so egregiously low that it's worth their risk.
Well,
but
here's some.
You also have the scenario
examples.
where if what if he comes out of this clean and then they're like, oh yeah, I profited off of that, even if they pay higher, right?
For sure. But here were some of the questions: 14-team Superflex League start 9. Rashee Rice in the 108 or Malik Neighbors?
I mean, I'm probably taking Malik there, and then especially in a non-best ball league, not even close.
I'm taking Malik. I'm hitting the button and I'm running away before anybody says anything.
Well, yeah, if that's a lineup league, also to that point, like I mean, there was a scenario where I took that. There was a scenario I might have taken that or considered taking that before the allegations, right? Like
for sure. Amon-Ra or Tet and Rashee Rice. That one becomes a little bit tougher.
I mean, yeah, it's the 108 and Tet are vastly different. We're talking about the 108 and 26 versus Tet. I mean, we're talking. Even if you tell me Amon-Ra and Malik are the same, which I think they're not necessarily the same. I mean, okay, that one maybe you just want to stay on the other side, just because there's probably a chance, Mike. That's one of those where I think about it like this. To me, I could probably add something else to Tet that gets me in the Amon-Ra conversation.
Anyways,
than a player than this, right? So
I agree with you that I voted for patrons. I voted that same side. Give me Tet and Rashee as much as I want to get out of them.
Tet's too high up the ladder at the moment to really throw that in, right?
Here you go, Penix or Rashee. Straight up, Superflex League, 14-teamer, 2.
Oh, okay.
The 14-team.
All right. Well, that 12-team, Mike, I think I would have probably considered riding that out. I think 14-team already puts me enough to where, all right, if I was close, I just go to the quarterback side.
Yep, I went quarterback there too.
12-team I would have probably held, but 14-team makes it Penix for me.
Rashee Rice and Rashid Shaheed for the 104.
I could care less about Shaheed in this, for the record.
Exactly. Give 0 shits.
This is an interesting one because I think you're towing the line here, right? Of if Rashee gets in trouble, it's the 104 by a country mile. If Rashee ends up being clean in this class, I think people are going to want Rashee for sure. It's probably that would be a scenario where it's like, all right, if you're concerned enough and you're worried and you want to get out, I think that's a reasonable get out, right? Like if you could give me the 104, I think that's a reasonable get out. So if you're panicked or you have a bunch of shares, like put it like this, I don't think I have that much Rashee either. But if I had, let's say 20, 30, 40% exposure, I might, just for the sake of this scenario, yes, let me get a little safer on some of these because that one's reasonable.
Some of the other ones we had Rashee or Golden QJ in a 27 second, and just put the cart before the horse. I was like, I'll keep Rashee there. Like I'll fuck around and find out, I guess.
Right.
Rashee or QJ in a 27 first.
So I'm sorry, I was reading DB's comments and trying to.
I got you.
Say it again.
I got you. Rashee or QJ in a 27 first.
Let me tell you something here. This is where I think you got to know what you're doing with the class, right? If you're telling me, like, I'm looking at this and I could say, okay, there's a real scenario. It's a late 27 first. I think the market's way too high on 27 first at the moment, Mike. I might be cool on that offer. If there's a scenario where like you're hoarding or that you think that this is a, like one of those teams that's really worth getting that 27 pick, okay, totally different conversation. But I think just like generically in a vacuum, I don't know that I want to just – it's not a bad pivot for the record. I don't know that I want to do it.
I looked at it. I'd take QJ in the 27 first, not because of the QJ thing, kind of like you said with Rashid Shaheed. I don't really give a fuck. But the 27 first, because of what you said about – I think the market is way too high on 27 first at this point. Mm-hmm. And I think the market is still way too low on 26 first. And there is a very realistic scenario, depending on your league. I could take a generic 27 first from a random fucking team that we don't know what he's going to be like.
6 or 7.
I might even get into a 104, man. Eric is in there answering questions about it, definitively. Eric's like, yeah, fuck yeah. Trade the 103 for 27 first and second. Like, that's where he's at. And if I'm like, if Eric's at that shit, he's talking about it on America's Game. He's telling people about it. So, fuck it. Let me try for a 103 with just this random 27 first. Let me try for the 104. And right now, if you told me I could trade Rashee for a 103 or a 104 straight up, gone.
Okay. I think there's two different conversations there. if you think in your market that's the case, Mike, I think I would agree with you completely. Because I just look at like I think holistically, I doubt that's the case in all the leagues. Now, I'm not saying there aren't some that's the case. And the one thing you do have going for you, at least with the 27 first, if you made that pivot, Mike, is similar to 26, right? We know over the course of time that they're going to go up in value. So there's some value insulation. I guess, Mike, if I was pivoting for one asset, which it feels like to me I'm doing, I don't know. That just, if you can play 4D chess, to your point, Mike, I think in general with the 27 first, I think that's the avenue that makes that advantageous to me. If you can't, I'm probably holding to the Rashee.
So realistically, let's have our conversation. Bottom fucking dollar right now. You have a Rashee share, all right? And you got multiple, okay?
Okay.
You got a portfolio of Rashee shares.
Yeah, I was actually, you know what? I was having a hard time. I was trying to figure everything out. I'm gonna get to the line. I want to know how many I have because I don't think I have that many, but just for the sake of this,
I mean, you're flustered, man. We got damn near 500 people tapping in tonight on Wednesday night.
I see that, but no,
fucking season's over. They all come back.
Well, yeah, dude, this is their fix, Mike, and we missed New Year's. I mean, come on, you were out here drinking a whole bottle. They're like, where the fuck are these guys at? No, I think I just wanted to kind of see what I have just for the case here because you said you only have one, so let's see if we have any more skin in the game. But go ahead, what were you gonna say? Bottom dollar, what?
Bottom dollar, you got a Rashee Rice portfolio that's healthy. Okay. You're worried. You want to move some. This is the bottom dollar wide receiver 1-for-1 swaps. These are the ones you're doing. You're like, okay, I'm willing to do this one.
Okay.
I'm going to start lower than I think you're going to say yes to.
You probably are, and that's okay. I mean, I don't think see, in this scenario like this, Mike, I don't necessarily believe there's a right and a wrong. I think that everyone has their opinion, and I think that's okay.
Go
ahead, though. Let's hear it.
Jordan Addison.
By the way, I have two, so I have more. I guess, especially considering you have more leagues than me, I have a bigger share percentage. So
you're doubling me up.
Yep. All right, let's hear. What do you got though?
Jordan Addison or Rashee, straight up.
Lineup or best ball?
Best ball.
Best ball. I think I would take Addison. Lineup. I think I wouldn't.
Because Addison is not a mover in a lineup league, right?
Yeah, Addison doesn't get me to the same table if Rashee's comes out of this okay, right? And then two, in best ball, I think I could basically the loss from Rashee to Addison, I can totally make up elsewhere in a best ball league.
Zay Flowers.
Let me tell you this about Zay Flowers. One of the things we didn't talk about this with Harbaugh. One of the intriguing things I guess for me with Zay is what if they go an new offensive mind here, right?
Somebody a little bit more creative.
There's intrigue. That's the intrigue for me with the Zay. I think I answer the same. I think I answer best ball, Zay, lineup, stay.
Here's the crazy thing about I do. Here's the crazy thing about Zay Flowers. I think he's under fucking valued. I think he's underappreciated.
Well, I don't disagree. Because of that, that's why in lineup I'm like, I don't think I could do it. You know what I mean?
But not the most creative offense, right? Like you and I could both agree if they got some.
How about the opposite of that? Not the most creative offense. We got 500 people in the building. Not a creative offense ever really since.
Do you remember when people were sucking off Todd Monken? Like we kept hearing that all off season a couple years ago. Yeah, fuck whatever. But yeah, Zay Flowers, 1,200 yards. Do you know that? 1,200 yards. The wide receiver position. Wide receiver 1.
But this part here is not wrong about Addison though, right? Like if McCarthy isn't it, I mean, there's definite scare about this whole lot. Justin Jefferson for the first time, Mike, has been not quarterback proof. I mean, this was
Addison has his own legal troubles. His just stem from at least when he goes out and he drinks and he drives, he passes out in his.
That's why, Mike. To me, it's best ball. If I was worried, this is bottom dollar, right? You're telling me like I can get no better, and I really want to get out of Rashee Rice. That would be in best ball only. Lineup, there's no chance.
I think I'm definitely on Zay Flowers. Addison, I'm with you. I'd be more split depending on.
So Zay, you'll take straight 100%. Up in lineup.
I'm
too.
Bottom dollar. We're talking bottom dollar.
Okay. All right. No, I mean again, that's all right. Damn.
Waddle.
I'm gonna pass.
I think I'm with you, and not because I don't think Waddle's a good player. I don't think not that I don't think the whole.
We're on the same page.
we could have an offensive resurgence in Miami if they got themselves a quarterback and kind of figured stuff out. My problem with Waddle is so inconsistent. Barry. So inconsistent with injuries. Like, I don't know if I can rely on you at all. And listen, I might have a guy that I can't rely on because he's fucking suspended. So at least give me the guy who can put up wide receiver 1 numbers when he's playing.
Yeah, the situation for Waddle too. It's like, man, it's kind of crazy how quick the Miami situation diminished. But I think I'd pass both times there.
Devontae Smith.
Mike, I think after this year, I'm gonna pass too here. Honestly, like
it is leaving a lot of sour taste in your mouth, ain't it?
The upside wasn't really there. There was a couple games, right? The upside feels a little bit lowered, and then the other thing, Mike, is the market on. So I have Devontae Smith, right? The market is as cool can be. Like, I'm pivoting. I guess that's where, like, Addison, and maybe I'm just being a little bit too reminiscent of, like, you know, before this J.J. McCarthy thing. But I've seen people really high on Jordan Addison. It feels like those days are way over for Devontae Smith. Like, you're kind of stuck with that asset. I think I'm passing here.
I think you are, and I think you're stuck with just a wide receiver too. But if I'm at bottom dollar, listen, I'm going to just ride with my Eagles. So, bias. This is bias. This is a biased take. Taking the Philadelphia Eagles.
It's fair. I'm chilling here.
You brought up a lot of good points. Travis Hunter.
Mike, let me tell you, this is really an interesting one. The Jacksonville situation as a whole. You think about these guys going into the playoffs, the excitement around it.
Mm-hmm.
Mike, what do we have this offseason? Like, BTJ is coming off a historic finish to the season, and you just drafted a guy at 2, that, albeit a wide receiver corner hybrid. What people are saying, the most generational talent, whatever. Mike, this team goes to the playoffs, and neither one of these guys are doing anything.
No.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm kind of petrified of Travis Hunter at the moment.
I am extremely bullish.
Are you?
Extremely bullish.
And why? Because you think he's going to play inside a lot?
So we got to week 6, and they had no real good game plan of how to use Travis Hunter. And they'd kind of murmured that they wanted to change how they used Travis Hunter, right? And what do we see the very following game? I mean, when they made the definitive statement about, we're going to change our approach on offense, like on how we're going to do it, we saw 2 things happen. We saw that game versus a very good Rams defense. Travis Hunter went the fuck off. Wide receiver 9 on the week, 24 points. The worst part is Travis Hunter gets injured in practice the following week. We don't get a follow-up. So that is what we're left with. The last time we saw Travis Hunter, him going the fuck off. But it also coincided with Liam Cohen changing how he called this offense, changing what he asked Trevor Lawrence to do. And up to this point, a lot of us looked at the Jacksonville Jaguars and were like, what the fuck is wrong with Trevor Lawrence? What the fuck is wrong with the Jaguars? This team is awful. Like, they may have some wins, but they've gotten lucky to this point. Since then, the Jaguars have gone on to have a hell of a run. Trevor Lawrence has played much better football. League winner in fantasy circles in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And the replacement for Travis Hunter, who went off and then got hurt, has been none other than Parker fucking Washington, which, while we got to enjoy for this season, I'm fully confident that would have been Travis Hunter the whole fucking time down the stretch, who is just extremely, extremely more talented than Parker Washington. So, I'm going to ride this fucking train of, listen, I saw one game. It's what I needed to see. Man. The Jaguars changed their offense. Trevor Lawrence changed his approach on how he wanted to do it. Fuck feeding BTJ. I'm going to feed this slot weapon. That's what Travis Hunter is. When he comes back next year fully healthy, he's going to be Parker Washington on super steroids.
Well, I'd have to see how. We'll have to look up my my Travis Hunter shares. I think we could maybe trade on air if there was an opportunity, for sure.
Hell yeah.
But okay, so you'll take Hunter. I would take Rice there. Mike, I feel like you dismissed a lot of Mr. Jacoby Myers, but that's neither here nor there.
Who?
You heard that guy? You heard what I said. you know exactly who.
Great block.
Don't fucking put down Jacoby Myers after you've been bullish on. Speaking of bullish, this guy's all right. Enough of this.
All right, some other guys that are ahead of him. Jamison Williams. You want JMO or you want Rashee?
Rashee still.
Okay.
I feel like this whole tier, right, is kind of if you had a preference or you kind of liked a specific asset and can see why the market would be high on him, make that pivot. Otherwise, I think we're kind of in a realistic, like, it's too far down, right?
And just for the reference, we're in the mid to early 20s as far as keep trade cut ranks go right now.
Yeah.
That's kind of where we're at.
I could agree. Okay, so let me ask you this. In lineup, Mike, is there a tier that you think a little above this that you could actually still get done? Maybe you had to kick something in, like kick a second in?
Definitely. So you got some Ladd McConkey, you got some Rome Odunze, right? You can buy a lot of these guys that are ahead of this 20 area that disappointed the fuck out of you this year. They did absolutely not a lot. Brian Thomas Jr., we just talked about him. I did see somebody ask. They got an offer. They got an offer of Emeka Egbuka straight up for the Rashee Rice. I thought that one was pretty easy. I'm not even the biggest Egbuka guy, and the way he finished the season was pretty fucking disappointing. But I will still take Emeka Egbuka easily in this scenario.
Yeah, I think that one. I don't know that it's easy per se, but I think given the off the field stuff, the reason I would say no to a lot of those players, Mike, is not necessarily because I don't believe in the talents, because I know that I'm putting myself in market purgatory, right? I'm in like no man's land, and
until they do something on the field.
Egbuka, I think this offseason is like the most sky high pivot. Like, people are going to forget. Watch, I'm telling you, not everyone, but there are going to be plenty of people that forget the poor finish down the stretch, right? So I think that one makes sense, because to me it's like a little more interesting for the tier here, where it's like, okay, Garrett Wilson, Rome Odunze, Marvin Harrison Jr. It's like Believeland, or we're kind of getting cool, and are they ever going to get a quarterback, right?
I think a great target would be Rashee for Chris Olave.
Well, I was going to say that, Mike, but it feels like there's just no way. Olave's market, and by the way, did I tell you? Look where the guy is right now. 15.
He's up.
Mike.
He's up.
It was been 2 weeks, but damn, that happened fast.
He jumped 3 spots since we last talked about it.
I mean, that really got out of hand fast. And Mike, this is not just any 3 spots. These are like monumental wide receivers to go over. Rome, Ladd, Marv. I mean, these are the guys people have been.
Let's not call them monumental. Last year they were monumental. At the end of this year, everybody clowning these fucking guys.
Well, sure, but Mike, you're talking about guys that are going into year 3. They're still, like, in dynasty circles, gonna be really, really highly valued. Chris Olave's about to pass Garrett Wilson, by the way, and that's happening. It's coming
for the second time.
But well, let's just go ahead and pivot off of the Rashee.
Yeah.
Ty Simpson declared, and then we'll get to questions, because we got a lot of people here with questions. Ladd or Odunze real quick, too? This is a good question that was on the screen before we get to Simpson.
I would prefer Rome Odunze.
I would, too.
I don't think he could make a real wrong choice, but my heart says Rome Odunze. I believe in his talent more than I believe in Ladd's.
Yeah, I think, given what we saw
I believe in his
year,
situation more than I believe in Ladd's.
Given what we saw this year from Ladd and Rome, obviously both disappointing, but I think here you're kind of splitting hairs, so to speak, and I still think the higher ceiling maybe lies with Rome, although, there's reasons to be very concerned with both, frankly. So I think I would slightly lean Rome.
A couple things on Rome that make me more bullish on him than Ladd. We actually saw Rome.
Egbuka and Rome were the fucking same pitcher. What a horrible fall.
We saw Rome go off with everybody else available to him, right? Like, we saw Rome go off with everybody else in the lineup. Now, when Rome started to disappoint here pretty big time, and we started having it wasn't.
You just reminded me of the player I wanted to talk about, so I'm glad you did. Go ahead.
It wasn't like Rome was disappearing while DJ Moore thrived or while Luther Burden thrived. Now, we're going to look at Luther Burden at the end, and I think Luther Burden is going to be somebody that's going to get jacked up way too fucking high. And we have to remember Luther Burden did all this shit without Rome.
That was who I was going to talk about, is that Mike Luther Burden is past Travis Hunter. He's wide receiver 21 right now.
Yeah, good luck with that one. I like the guy.
Mike, good luck. This is exactly what I was talking about with second-round picks, why it's worth shooting your shot still. Luther Burden is on – he's moving. I'm moving him this offseason, period. Like, I don't have to get 21 out of the guy. I can get 30 and I'm okay.
Let's also talk about you shot your shot on a guy who went 201, 202, 203. Mike, also back to our episode where we talked about what you
got him 205, though, in a couple spots. Like, people really freaked out
in a couple spots. But for the most part, Luther Burden's got an ADP
early second, sure.
Yeah. Like those early second round picks, those are still fine to have. I'm talking anytime you get to 206, I'm stopped giving a fuck. Like most of these guys suck.
Well, they typically do, but I mean, what about Jaden Higgins?
Again, love the guy. Listen, spoke very highly of him in the pre-draft process. Listen, had to defend him all fucking year, and now I look down at him. To your point about Jaden Higgins, I was like, this motherfucker is up to 32.
But that's all. Holy that's why I'm saying though, Mike, the second round picks are still worth shooting the shot on, because even when it looks like their season is lost, they finish strong and boom. Look at this. It's madness. Mike, it's only going to go up from here too. Think about this, given the class. But anyway, that's a side tangent.
It is.
Okay, Ty Simpson, and then we get the questions.
Ty Simpson. Interesting case.
Simpson, hey?
One, I hoped he declared, right? Because you want more potential first-round quarterbacks in any rookie class for Superflex leagues.
Sure.
You do.
I mean, in this class, we're not going to be upset about anyone with potential first-round.
Now, normally in this situation, I would say Ty Simpson must have pretty good information from the NFL that he's going to go somewhere in round 1. That must have been his draft eval. You know, all the potential underclassmen, when they have this declaration they have this decision to make on whether or not they're going to commit to the NFL draft or put their name in, declare for the NFL draft. They get a draft eval. They get a grade on where they're going to be.
Yeah, right. Sure.
However, we've seen a number of underclassmen, Shedeur Sanders, Sam Howell. We've seen these guys over the years who probably got a good draft grade. It is why they committed to go to the NFL draft.
Shedeur's is its own unique case, we can admit, right?
It is, but we've seen enough of these guys. Malik Willis.
I get your point.
We've seen enough of these guys just tumble down the fucking
Malik Willis board. After his pro day was like, locked in top 5 pick. He threw that bomb, the touchdown. Like, oh my god, there he is.
Was that? Who had that? One of those top picks. Was it the fucking Lions at the time? I kept seeing rumored to draft Malik Willis.
Yikes.
Yeah, 101, whatever the fuck it was. Anyways, so as it stands right now, at least on the surface, it looks like Ty Simpson got a favorable grade, and we're talking about another potential first-round pick. But I've been burned enough in the past to know, like,
dude, pre-draft, Mike, I'm good. I'm very, very good. I promise. Good. Okay, I've done this a handful of times. I remember the Matt Corral and all these guys.
Yes, yeah. We've taken some lumps on those guys.
Matt Corral, for sure. First round. Woof.
There's a couple things going against Ty Simpson. He's not going to wow you with any kind of measurables or size.
That's another thing about it, right? If I was going to potentially
small
pre-draft, I tried to make it a smaller framed image here, not just for the sake, but if he offered some kind of fantasy tangible upside, Mike, I think I might be a little more willing to shoot my shot in a pre-draft.
He doesn't even offer the Diego Pavia attitude, Baker Mayfield swagger.
I have no, I have no stakes in this, right? I don't have any dog in the fight per se, but
no.
I feel like he got bad info. If he thinks I think there's a chance he falls out, buddy, pretty easy. I mean, honest.
Yeah, but. We got a comment in there about people already bragging about how he's a coach's son, and the NFL loves him. So we've seen some crazy shit.
They like him day 3.
All I'll say is for our 27 picks, Ty Simpson declaring for this class is a good thing for now, because it gives us another
26
potential
picks,
name.
Right? Yeah.
Yes, it gives us another potential name, and it's another option that NFL teams could draft in the first round.
Sure, Bo Nix, right? I mean, Bo Nix goes 12. I mean, who knows, right?
The other thing working against Ty Simpson is he hasn't started a whole lot of games. And as of recent memory, quarterbacks who come out and are first-round picks in the NFL who haven't started a lot of games, the record's not that fucking great, right? That's actually just being harsh against these guys, because how many of these quarterbacks who have started a shit ton of games and been recent first-round picks at the quarterback position have actually panned out to be something?
That's the other thing, Mike, is it feels like this class, even though he's declaring, is labeled as not a good class at quarterback, right?
Mm.
And you know what the NFL has done in recent memory in these classes? Fade the whole fucking thing.
Fade the whole thing. Now, we had this conversation years back on this channel, you and I did, And
what is this,
I don't
22? Which class?
Yeah, was it? It was
Probably
the Malik.
22. Willis. That was right. Was that Willis?
Yeah, I think it was the Malik Willis class, the Sam Howell class. We had this conversation about it, and we were also
Howell was 22. Yeah.
We're coming off this era of, at the time we were talking about, man, there's so many quarterback openings. There's such a dearth of guys who are going to be free agents, and the quarterback play was so shitty this year. This is why these teams need it. Whether they think highly of this quarterback class or not, they're going to draft a shit ton of them. Like, they're going to just shoot their shots. And
Sure.
They didn't. This past year, this quarterback class wasn't that great, right? We got Jackson Dart.
Well,
we got Cam Ward.
Yeah. I don't know, though. It also didn't. There was a lot better thoughts of Shedeur going into the draft. I feel like it wasn't quite as poo-pooed upon as this class, but similar vibes. I think it's just a little bit better last year than this year, right?
Do you think last year's quarterback class as a whole, let's flash back to this time last year where we're at.
Yeah.
Cam Ward had kind of resurrected himself. He'd come from
maybe
this time
a
last
third
year,
think about this. This time last year, Shedeur and Cam Ward, remember they were doing commercials like they're going 1 and 2 was what the thought process was.
And Jackson Dart was probably the only dark horse about potential first round. I remember vividly me and Matty Keewan were looking at some of the early mock drafts, and we look like assholes now, but we were making fun of anybody who had Tyler Shuck in the first round. Now he didn't go in the first round, and
he damn near did though. And there was a lot of rumors that the Browns were going to take him first round. And I was like, please God, no.
He damn near did. But it's weird how this builds up. It wasn't a very good quarterback class, is my point last year. It wasn't like we had a bunch of superstars, and it wasn't. I can definitely tell you, while Cam Ward was my pick for quarterback, and then when we got to rookie scouting time and I got to the film or whatever, I made the definitive statement he's my 101 in Superflex drafts for rookie profiles. I can definitely tell you, January of last year, I was like, I hope I get Cam Ward at 105, 106. I wasn't thinking top of the draft. I wasn't thinking he was going 101 to the Titans.
Sure. Well, he wasn't a lock to go 101, I think, but I think he was going to your point, go top 5 for sure.
I say all that to say, while we look at last year's class and this year's class, and it's easier to do now because we're sitting here and we're talking about it now and we're in the moment, I can say I have a higher opinion right now of this year's quarterback crop as a whole than I did of last year's quarterback crop as a whole.
Well, and maybe that's because Mike, to me, I think Shedeur was, a locked-in top 20 pick before. It was so much of a fuss. You had a guy that literally would not shut up about it, right? And he does is draft day. They were shocked by his inability to talk about anything else, because I think that's part of it, Mike. If you tell me Shedeur Sanders got drafted in the top 20, and then Dart was the guy, that's to your point, dark horse that does go in round 1. To me, I guess I like the top end of it better than I do currently. This could end up being wrong. I'm not saying that these quarterbacks won't end up being – you won't have some quarterbacks from this class that end up being good. But to me, I feel like I thought a little higher of last year's class at the moment at this current time, a year ago. But again, I guess to your point, it's easy to – hindsight bias is 2020. It always is, right? What
I need to do is I need to get better at – bookmarking these Reddit posts when we have a Todd McShay come out with his 1.0 mock draft, right? That way I can go back and I can look at 2025 in January and kind of see where the market was. But it feels like, to me, and like I said, somebody can fact check me on this. If you can find it, great. If we got a great database that tells me what the mock drafts were saying back in fucking January of 2025 versus now, it feels to me like this quarterback class is thought a little bit more highly of. Not that it's great, not that it's 24, which is never we're never going to see that shit again.
No,
not that it's 24, but this feels a lot better than it does, last year. It feels a lot better than you and I trying to make the case for Matt Corral and Sam Howell. 22.
I was going to say, Mike, to me, this class feels as close as it's felt to 22. Honestly, right? My personal opinion. So. In the fact that there's not a lot of revered players, right? They're in the very last minute, right? Even Cam Ward, although he was kind of a late riser, right? It was for years in the community that people knew about the guy's name. They were like, is he going to ever do it? He finally put it together in a way that no one could have imagined. But I mean, like, at least in my opinion, no one was really talking about, a lot of these names, like, really highly regarded, until, and even now they're not necessarily talking about him really highly regarded. It's like, is he actually good? It's kind of the narrative, at least around the quarterbacks at the moment. I'm interested to see, I guess, what they say, the talking heads, if you will. But
so I got a mock draft from February of last year, like mid-February. So we're at combine time. You got Shedeur 1, you got Cam Ward 1, you had Shedeur 2. No other quarterback in the first round. No Jackson Dart, no Tyler Shuck. Just for reference. And
at least Tyler Shuck was a much later,
much later.
With his name
that's
getting fire, right?
Yeah. That's just one I can find, but it kind of felt like we had Cam, we had Shedeur, we didn't really know about anything else. And I'm telling you, with this class, at least for me right now, it's like Ty Simpson, maybe. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe Garrett Nussmeier up until midway point of this season, and the way LSU and the Brian Kelly situation went out. Garrett Nussmeier was a lock for the 101 at one point. He's in this class for sure. We got Dante Moore. We got to wait on this college football playoff.
Here's the thing. Dante Moore, I think, Mike, would be, if he declares, right? At this point, I'm not putting Dante Moore in the mix. Let me just say that part of this. Okay, so if Dante Moore ends up declaring and is a part of the class, I might be closer to where you're at.
Awesome.
I'm right now kind of the mindset that that's not a lock. So I'm looking at it with him out of it at the moment.
No, let me ask you one more.
Okay.
Because he's still playing, right?
Yeah.
And
who?
Just coming off an impressive win. I know it's tough to talk about, but Carson Beck.
Am I high on him?
What do you think about him? Right, so he's got an opportunity, potentially 2 more games to play. He just had an impressive win to move his team on. Carson Beck, 2 years ago, people were talking about the 101 pick. It didn't work out for him at Georgia to be that. He kind of had a down year, and then he got hurt and really fucked up his elbow, and that obviously took him out of the conversation. And he transfers down to be with his girlfriend and get a bag in Miami.
Mm-hmm.
Props to him, because the dude's ugly as fuck, right? But Carson Beck now is playing very well in the biggest fucking stage, and has the potential of 2 more games on there to put shit on fucking wax. Like, I'm just throwing it out. If Carson Beck plays very well, even in a loss, this upcoming week, if Carson Beck plays well, I think NFL teams really do fucking like him, and Carson Beck will be back in the first round conversation as well.
So here's the thing. To me, the reason I'm not interested is because I look at it from the fantasy side of things, and it's like,
what do you do,
buddy? This guy can't. We're not going to talk about him as a guy that can move, right? I mean, that's just not.
Right.
So I don't care about a quarterback of that stature in today's. Today, the quarterbacks that can't move, Mike, can move. That's the thing. Like, there's not really the statue quarterbacks anymore. It feels like Carson Beck's game is very, very limited in the rushing capacity. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I guess for me, from the NFL side, it would be different. From the fantasy side, I'm like, I don't really want a non-mobile quarterback anymore. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's my Carson Beck thing.
I got you.
For fantasy, at least. I'm very curious to see, though, Mike. I think one thing that, if you look at that mock, right, and you were just referencing the mock in February, and then you're talking about, where are we at now? Think about, look at that 3-month span, and if you look at the draft that actually took place, and maybe some of the mocks right before, not necessarily just from the quarterback position, all positions in general. I think there's always these late risers, these guys that you haven't heard much of, that end up going. People didn't have Rashee Rice as a 2nd-round pick, speaking of Rashee Rice in that class. So I think there's going to be some late risers, and I'm very curious. Like, the 26 class is thought of poorly. I don't think that's going to change, but I do think this happens every year. There's players that get buzz in, whether it's at the combine or, Senior Bowl, whatever it is, and people have to go get their guy. And that's what changes, I think, a little bit of the tune of the 26 class versus I'm going to get a player.
Definitely. I mean, we're going to have risers, and we're going to do nothing but talk about fucking Senior Bowl here soon. We're going to talk about those performances. We're going to talk about this guy's uncoverable at the Senior Bowl. Or, look how good this quarterback looked. And then we're going to get to the combine, and you're going to hear all the buzz about who's meeting with who and who's bringing who in for private workouts. And it's all just a build-up, right? Like, you're a Browns fan. You can definitely tell for certainty when the Cleveland Browns selected Baker Mayfield #1 fucking overall. That was like the biggest held secret. Nobody even had that shit up right till the fucking pick was in. We're like, what?
There was
Baker?
Like literally about 24 hours before, I remember hearing the first source about it, and I remember laughing like, what are you fucking? And then like all morning, it started to build, and then like by the time they were on the clock, you're like, dude, I think they're gonna fucking do this thing. And then they take them, and you're like, okay, that's wild. I mean, that's a very unique case, I think, because of how much, our GM at the time was just infatuated, Dorsey, with the kid. But I mean, to your point, there's going to be draft day shakeups that are crazy. Hopefully, they're for the fantasy side of things. Like, I don't know. I think at the end of the day, 25 and 26 are going to look similar as far as the way that we view it. Outside of, I think, the receivers potentially being a little bit higher, depending on what you thought of Travis Hunter last year. But I think they'll shake out pretty similar in the way that they're viewed. I think we have Jeremiah Love. They'll be viewed similar to a Jeanty as the guy to go get, and then it'll be like a tier break, and you'll have your guys. You'll have some quarterbacks in there, but I think there will be a pretty big fall off from the 101 to the 102 this year at the moment.
Just bringing it back to Ty Simpson, though. Extra declares, more possibilities.
It doesn't hurt. Here's what I'll say. We know for a fact it doesn't hurt. It shouldn't hurt, right?
Doesn't hurt.
Okay, so let's get the questions. Mike, actually, before we do, all right, we got a lot of people here. How did you and everyone let us know. How did you do this year? How did you finish? Right, we had our time off, and it's in the books.
It was a not great year for me. Not terrible. Not terrible. Some of my earlier years.
Not bad, but it wasn't one of your better years. Okay.
I think back to some of my first Dynasty years, especially the one where I traded Austin Eckler in his prime.
For a third, right?
For a third round pick.
Yeah, you told me about that one. That was the...
We hit that bad.
We've evolved. That's like the OG days, too. Like, trade calculators were scarce. They wouldn't even exist, right? Like, holy shit, what had I done?
We made a profit. That's
always a good
thing. Let's
say
that. After we go through and we pay all the fucking league dues here, I got my number that I need. We made a profit, just not a big one.
So you were able to pay off your winnings. Were able to pay for all the leagues moving into next year. That's like
that's a dub.
I think that's the threshold of like, okay, I didn't have a terrible year. I'm with you.
And
if you're in a portfolio of some sort, yeah.
To epitomize this, Adam, it's the running joke of my home league, my 10-team, 1 quarterback redraft league.
Hey, Jason won 2 of 2. 100% is something I don't think I'll ever be able to do.
In my home league, this is the epitome of how my season went. Good, but not great. Good, but not great. Not a like, let me brag about it. It's the running joke of my home league. Since I started doing Dynasty content on here, I have not won my home league. So before Adam and I met, I'm telling you, Adam, I could write that shit off as a on my taxes every fucking year. Like, I put those boys down as my dependents.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, I'm fucking winning this thing almost every year, if not every other year at worst. But since I started doing this show with Adam, I have not won this fucking thing, and I have not sniffed a championship.
You got to experience ATM's curse too, huh?
We entered the last week, which we do not do a playoff, so we play all 18 weeks. So week 18, mind you, all you people get to enjoy your...
Is it total points for you?
Just whatever the record is at the end of the year, that's the winner.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So we enter week 18.
You have random games scheduled for like 17, 18, 16 and stuff?
Yep, just regular season matchup.
Wow, that's great. That's a crazy format. Okay.
So we enter week 18. All right. All you guys get to sit at home and enjoy just watching football, the terrible main slate that we had. Just get to sit there and enjoy it. I'm sweating fucking bullets on, are the Eagles playing their starters? Wait, I benched Devontae Smith. Why the fuck is he out? Oh, they're just trying to get him 1,000 yards. Son of a bitch. Okay. Whew. Is Cortland Sutton in the Broncos? Like, are they going to try? Like, this is what I'm sweating out, because I enter week 18 in a 4-way fucking tie for first. A 4-way tie in a 10-team league. 4-way tie. And I'm like, this could be it. This could be it. Adam, we get to the evening fucking games. Games. The 1 seed, the 2 seed, both are taking guaranteed losses. Gone. Me at 3, the guy at 4. We're both looking like we're going to win, okay? Both looking like we're going to win. Sunday night game gets over. I finished second because of 8 fucking points. 8 fucking points. And here's the real kicker. I didn't know the Patriots were going to fucking go so hard, okay? Because at the last minute, I benched Ramondre Stevenson for Jalen fucking Wright.
No.
That's how. So congratulations to me for being second. You know, it's like kissing your sister, a hot sister, but it still sucks.
You know what would be cool, Mike? If sometime you could slingshot me in for a win. You know?
Yeah, it'd be real nice. So the elusive home league title still fucking evades me because I'm dumb enough to bench Ramondre Stevenson in week 18 for Jalen Wright. I was like, hey, no H-Chan.
You're a glutton for punishment, putting Jalen Wright over. That's tough.
You know how fucking sick I was when I watched Ramondre break off a 50-yard run to start
the Rhino. Like, the Rhino with you.
No,
the Rhino looking spry again. That had to hurt.
Son of a bitch. So at the end of the day, I made a little bit of money. Get to pay league dues. Get to keep the lights on. You know, not digging into the wallet to pay for.
Leave the lights on for you.
Yeah, we're doing all right.
Yeah, but Motel 6.
Wasn't the greatest year, but it's okay.
It's all right. It happens.
Keep it moving.
It wasn't the greatest year for me. It wasn't my best finish, but I was in 6 titles of 18 leagues. And then, Mike, it was can I tell you, it was a sweat almost in all of them? That was the weirdest part. Like, because you asked me on recap, you know, and I'm like,
how you doing?
I don't really have a definitive answer for you yet. 'Cause I don't have any Derrick Henrys, or I did play against Derrick Henry. I will say that was one of the ones. I lost to Coop, okay? So I won 4 of the 6 that I was in. Coop, Mike, in South Harmon Dynasty Degenerates, the absolute debauchery of a league that I made was start 16. It's all about the running backs. This dude hit me with Derrick Henry, Christian McCaffrey, Bijan Robinson. I mean, dude, it looked close. Let's just say the finish was not at all. He gaped me. So, but I won 4 of the 6 that I was in, 4 of 18. So, it was I think it was a solid year. It was a solid year for me. It wasn't, you know, anything like crazy, but I'll definitely take it.
Yep, that's all you can really hope for. It's kind of like trading, like you said. As long as you win just 1 or 2 more than you lose, you're doing okay.
And I mean, there was some of those. I was going into the Monday night game, right? I was like, all right, if it goes poorly, I'll win 2, and if it goes well, I'll win 4. So I'll take at least what took place on Monday.
It's one of those things that we always talk about. Like you at the end of the day, we really play this for the love of the game. Because to be honest, with all the time and effort that you put into it, for a couple $100 fucking profit at the end of the year, I would have been better off just going and flipping burgers at McDonald's. I would have been way more money ahead.
I mean, and I ended up, I think, in a pretty profitable position this year. But it was like, to your point, as far as the amount of time that goes into the leagues, the time that goes into I mean, it's not even.
I can also summarize it too, because I got all these leagues that I commission, so I got to go through and I do all the payouts. Adam, I have never, even in best ball, you know, and you and I have disagreed about this, but for the most part, Coop did a great episode breaking it down on grinding the edge about how important the 1 seed is.
I was going to say, Mike, actually that was what I was going to go to next. It's
even more important in best ball. Adam, I have never remembered paying out so many fucking 6 seeds in my entire life to 1 championship.
One of my wins, Mike, I was the 5. Two, Arkham, I snuck in 5 or the 6.
Exactly.
Mike, I'm telling you, I think this year, and let me say this too. I think there's two parts of this. One, the playoffs, and I think this is more every year than we'd like to admit. Random ass people went off. All right, it felt worse this year. It felt like really random by some of these players. Like Trevor Lawrence had a horrible year for the most part. It felt like, and then became quarterback Jesus, right? And so there's Brock Purdy. The reason I wasn't in more than 6 is Brock Purdy alone. He killed me in 2 leagues. 2 leagues he took me out. Fuck. Had to bring that up. But yeah, I guess to that point, so maybe that was some randomness. But I also think like this. I think in best ball leagues, right, there was a wave where it was like the new thing. And I still think more people are playing. But I don't think I still think it's very niche, right? And I think the majority of the people that play are getting a little better. I'm not saying that everyone's this way. There's plenty. I look at plenty of teams and I'm like, okay, this is not a best ball, well rostered team. But I think more often than not now when we look at teams, they're closer to a best ball type of a roster than we've seen for sure back in 22, 23, 24. So I think that also plays a factor too as well.
Well, also definitively, you and I talked about it in mid-season. We can definitely talk about it at the end of the season. This is by far and away for Superflex leagues, whether it's lineup or best ball.
That's true.
The worst quarterback year that we have ever seen.
Because last year started that way, and then quarterbacks came back to fucking...
It rebounded.
They came back to have great seasons, actually.
Lamar and Josh Allen went on MVP runs.
J-Day.
Right to the fucking...
all these
J-Day, yes. You had Jalen Hurts.
Baker had a ridiculous year. Right.
Yes. It was absolutely crazy. And this year, it was like, if you invested heavily in quarterback, good luck. Good luck, because the top guys barely did shit, and you had all kinds of Tyler Shucks. You had all kinds of Jacoby Brissett's. You had Trevor Lawrence, who after 6 weeks we were like, fucking, this guy's awful.
And you know what I will say? Here's another point. Another thing that you just made me realize or think about. To that point, Mike, a lot of times I was able to navigate trades that really kind of made things maybe push a little more in my favor. Not guarantee a win, right? But, okay, roster. Mike, those trades actually this year, they backfired for me every time. And I think it's because the guys you're expecting to go by and do well, if you got McCaffrey or Derrick Henry or Bijan, right, the running back gods, that's a different conversation. But, Mike, you bought Matthew Stafford thinking like, all right, listen, I just need to lock up a title. How'd that fucking work out? You lost. He might not have made your roster, right? He might not have made your team. So there was a lot of like random Kyle Pitts, you were the non-beneficiary of this. Kyle Pitts knocked some teams out that you didn't think were going to get knocked out in the first round, right?
Fucking fizz.
I'm just saying this was a I think there's always some variance. There's tons of variance, but I do think this year there was some interesting things that played out. But yeah, I think roster construction though made it to where, damn, like this 5 seed isn't really a 5. It doesn't look like your normal 5 seed, right? Sometimes, and
it does not.
That's the other thing with best ball too, Mike, is where maybe you snuck in as a 5 seed and you have a bunch of picks or things, and if you with the deadline off, listen, man, all things could totally shift in 3 weeks.
I also got to give a big shout out to our boy Slemno.
Slemno, okay.
Because unlike you last year, with your God Squad and shit,
I lost in shit again. By the way, it was one of my other loss was shit. I lost twice.
You were the Patriots. Like go undefeated all season just to blow it in the championship.
This year, J-Cap.
I want to give a shout out to Slemno. It's the first time in a best ball league against the median, mind you, that I've ever seen a guy have 0 losses. Not against the median, not against a matchup. And he took that fucker all the way to the finals and blew out his finals opponent. I was like, God damn, that's actually fucking impressive.
Congrats,
against the median. I think he was 28-0 in the regular season, and then you get 3 wins, 2 wins.
It would be
right, 30-0.
Yeah, 28 and then 2, right? Yeah, I was Mike. I would have in one of my leagues this year, but you know what's funny? I lost in. I had this team randomly had a bunch of buys that last week of the regular season, so I lost a meaningless week. What was that? 14, right?
Starters were rested.
Legitimately, I was like looking at this team in Sunday night, like after recap, and I'm like looking at the bottom, like buy. I'm like fuck. I had like 7 people on buy. Didn't matter. Still in the league, but didn't get the Slenmo special. Congrats, Slenmo.
Yeah, 30-0.
Chris Olave also. There's another one. Chris Olave went nuts. I'd like to see those lists. I'm curious if we already have some. I'm
biggest playoff winners.
Yeah, I'd imagine I have seen a lot more of the losers this year. Actually, to your point about people liking to make fun of Brian Thomas. I saw was on that list.
Bijan Robinson's going to be on it, not because of what he did in your guys' fantasy playoffs, but I have him in my home league in week 18. So thanks for your 5 points, you fucking asshole. Thanks for the 5
You'll
points.
have that. He coming off of a 50, right? To a 5. That's tough.
Yeah, to a 5. Fuck.
All right. Well, if you have questions, I mean, we got a ton of people here, so ask away.
Massive amount.
Otherwise,
shit.
Like I'm telling you, this is one of the things.
Is this a first night draft stream?
Well, no, but this is consistent. Not necessarily the number here, okay? But what's consistent is like during the season, people just between watching football, what they got going on, the holidays, a little bit of fatigue, and there's a little get through process, and you forget about that, and all of a sudden it's like, wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
I don't like resting that much. We're degenerates. We want back in, I want back in.
Two, I understand. There's probably much better options in the season, right? There's a lot more content in the season.
Sure.
There's a lot of redraft focused content. Very good stuff.
I shouldn't say all, but for the most part, if your redraft focus is content, like you're not. This is your week that you're definitely off, right? Like you're chilling.
I mean, they got much better choices, and where are the herpes? We're always here.
But that's the thing, right? When you least want to have us, we're there, right? We're the only option. We're there for you. Oh fuck, it's not bad. Outside of top 5 picks, I don't like the draft, so I'd hold on trading him outside of that. I think this was in regards to.
That's not crazy.
This was in regards to Burden, though. I think actually.
Oh well, true, but his original point about top 5 picks is pretty legitimate.
Right? No, it's legit. I was actually we didn't really talk about Luther that much, and at least until we get other questions flying in here, or if they do or don't. Mike,
Luther Burden.
This was one of those ones I didn't necessarily see coming, but I do think that there's a. This happens every year. This feels extremely Jaden Reed to me, and not even with the warranted of like what Jaden Reed necessarily did in his rookie season. Because Jaden Reed, I think, was like wide receiver 24 going into that offseason. Felt like definitely some up and down games, but Luther Burden for the most part, Rome had the foot injury, right, and that was seemingly when he started to go nuclear or have his big games. I get the hype with Burden, and I'm not saying that I'm disinterested, but you're telling me, dude, he's literally sandwiched in between T. Higgins and A.J. Brown right now.
I am disinterested at the current price unless something significant happens in the offseason, which very well
DJ Moore type thing?
Which very well could, right?
So let's just even... I always like to talk risk reward, and I'd like to talk as do you, right? And then scenarios like if DJ Moore was moved this offseason, is this price warranted then even 20?
If DJ 20's still gonna be pretty fucking rich.
I mean, it's 21, but I'm just saying like he's gonna 21 up 22 rich. Spots. He's probably still rising. So how this game goes with the young players too, right?
Yes. I would say for me, no, but I understand if people want to be in on him if DJ Moore is moved. If DJ Moore is not moved, then fuck no. No chance.
This also doesn't even get to the fact. See, this is one of those things where, Mike, I think, like keep trade cut, for example, you got to be a little mindful of it, right? Because Rome has gone down, but not a ton.
Mm-hmm.
Loveland hasn't moved, and if he's done anything, it's moved up. So even you move on from DJ Moore. What? Everyone loves Loveland still.
Yeah.
Like, did we see how much they ran this year?
Yes. And what happens if they address that situation in the offseason with something more exciting than DeAndre Swift and Kyle?
They have plenty of bullets in the chamber, so to speak, to address the running back position. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's settling into a pretty good. I mean, as it stands right now, definitely a sell. But Adam, I think to your point, even if DJ Moore is moved, which God, I hope so. I hope it's to Buffalo.
That's what I think.
That shit into existence so bad.
But just think about that for a second. If you're telling me that the price at the moment is maybe worth it, if the best case scenario happens,
yeah.
Math isn't my thing, okay? But that math doesn't seem to work. I mean, like, T. Higgins is the guy in front of him. That's
tied to Joe Burrow.
That's lofty. Also, Travis Hunter is at wide receiver 24. I do think, though, because in this range still is Pearsall, Michael Wilson's up there, Jaden Higgins.
Yeah.
I do think there's there's not enough names, so to speak, right? You run out of people to put into those spots quickly. But man,
I would add 3 in front of him pretty
Well, I mean, I'm not saying that he should be where he is. I'm just saying that there's a tier.
No, I'm saying there's 3 that aren't going to make this list because they haven't been drafted to a team yet. That I would. Put in front of
3 rookies. Yeah, I would fully agree. Given that I expect what I expect for the draft capital, right?
Yes.
When the draft capital comes in, maybe we have a different combo. I'm with you though at the moment. Would you buy Ashton Jeanty for the low? This is one of those things, Mike. I'll be honest. I don't see the low at the moment as a.
Your low is RB4.
That's what I'm. So technically, it's a dip from probably his startup price, right? Like his startup price was late first, early second. He probably is like but at RB4, Mike, he's probably a late second, early third.
So I think you got an opportunity for it to go a little bit lower, but right now it's not looking good. Okay, and why I say you have an opportunity is because we have playoff.
Love probably comes in and bumps him down by at least 1.
You have the opportunity of Love, but you also have 2 rookie running backs that can get hyped up and elevate because they're going to play in the playoffs. And if they were to go out and have massive games in the playoffs,
Hampton
above
and
Ashton Jeanty.
Man, you know the Trev experience has been the weirdest still. Like it's just, you still see the Rhino out there just getting run,
eating. I'm sorry I benched you. God,
it's so frustrating. If you just, gosh, will someone, Ohio State, New England, will someone give the kid the workload?
Please. They did his freshman year and then never to be seen again.
It's amazing to me. I guess here's what I'll say. I'm very interested if there was a true low. I just don't think, like I just feel like the market. I feel like the market really hasn't changed. Even if his startup prices dip, let's say 8, 10 spots, 12 spots even, I feel like the owner's not asking any less, realistically. No. Right? I guess that would be yes, I will be getting back to the highly detailed. I appreciate the reminder on that. And I will start it during the playoffs like I did a couple years ago. So definitely
he has fallen 1 RB spot since draft time. And he's fallen 900 keep trade cut points, which is nothing really.
I mean, I don't know. It's a really hard one to answer because I would be. Here's my thing with Jeanty, right? I think when we look back at it, you're gonna be like, damn. In a lot of these games, it felt like he was either completely eroded, he didn't get enough touches, the game got out of hand, or he just didn't do anything. And then you look at a handful, it's like, damn, I mean, given the situation, he had some damn good, blow up performances. I think the talent still is there. I do think what I will say is I would have liked to have seen more with, even though it felt like there wasn't a lot for him to make plays with. I would have liked to have seen him make a little more of the nothings, would be my high-end gripe.
He does have an opportunity this offseason with a new head coach, new quarterback, draft capital. I told you earlier, a shit ton of cap space, to kind of reshape the team. And all of a sudden we're like, fuck, you know what I mean? But to what you're talking about, Adam, it doesn't feel like people have soured on him enough to be like, I got to go buy Jeanty because it still feels like I'm paying a shit ton for Ashton Jeanty. I'm not really buying that low.
I do think, Mike, at least watching some of those games, I think you could make the case that while the team was super underwhelming as far as talent, I think Pete Carroll was horrifically bad. I think everybody, and I think they were awful. The play calling, the way they were using players, everything was horrible about this team.
Do you understand how fucking bad you have to be as an NFL head coach to take over a terrible franchise and then to go one and done where the team goes, get the fuck out?
We have seen enough. We have seen plenty.
We're good. They literally, this time last year, were excited about giving the guy a contract to cover to coach the team and putting on press conferences. And you fast forward less than 12 months and they're like, bye.
It kind of felt like the last year of Biden. Kind of like this guy needs to go. Like the game has passed him by. I think that Jeanty has from a touch standpoint, it's shocking to me how little work he got this year, given the draft capital. I think from a touch standpoint next year, you're going to be looking at a significant uptick. That's the one thing I will say.
Man, where did he... So here's the fucking crazy thing. His opportunity share, meaning how much he was on the field.
Right.
Number 1 out of all running backs. I mean, Kyron Williams level shit. Kyron Williams from a couple years ago level shit.
Mm-hmm.
Actual weighted opportunities, 7th.
Well, yeah, those are bad. But Mike, I mean,
we're gonna put them out there. We're just not gonna give you the ball.
But legitimately, Mike, I can give you 4 to 5 games where he didn't play a snap in the fourth quarter.
Why?
Because they were already down by 40. It was over.
So here's some good things to take away, at least from Ashton Jeanty. If you're gonna buy him, like I hope the person who asked the question about Ashton Jeanty, you can actually get a buy low opportunity. You know what I mean? Like I hope that actually exists, because keep trade cut's not gonna be reflective of every single league out there, and there's gonna be some people who are panicked and they hate the fucking Raiders and they think Ashton Jeanty's shit. We got Xbox in the chat who early in the season's trolling at him every time about Ashton Jeanty.
That was I wish he would have kept doing that, because every time he did, can I tell you the best part?
He went off.
He was like a reverse jinx,
There's some things to it, like his juke rate is up there, top 5 evaded tackles, 4, and then the one thing I really love to see, yards created per touch. Now, while at 15th you go, oh, that isn't that great, but then I go to the next stat that ties to it.
Come on,
run block rating. 62nd.
Well, that was the other thing about it, Mike. And can I be honest? This is again what I'm talking about with like Pete Carroll, Chip Kelly, these guys. When he was in, it was almost like to be at 62. Basically, the team's like, all right, we think Jeanty's going to get the ball here, and they're just literally hitting all the gaps with blitz, and they still run.
It's at Madden or college football. You hold down LB and you push the right stick down.
Yeah. Send the house.
It's a run up the middle, guaranteed.
It's crazy. But one thing I don't
or
think
Tecmo Bowl when you can guess the play.
That's an OG. That's an OG pool.
Yeah, you like that one.
Well, the one thing I will say is that at least because when Jeanty when he got to the second level, he seemed to always make a play that was kind of like, okay, he did something. But the amount of times he gets to the second level at all was just crazy low.
No, I wonder.
I don't know. I doubt there's a
stuffed runs, number 1 in the league.
There you have it. Well, that's not even shocking. But damn,
you want to guess the rate? You want to guess the rate? Right? They put a percentage on it.
So what percent of their runs were stuffed?
Yeah, when Ashton Jeanty got the ball.
75%.
26.7, which is absurd. 1 out of every 4 fucking touches.
I was trying to be egregious, but obviously it wasn't 75%, but it felt more like 75. 26% of the time, you're saying he was stuffed. So at 1 out of every 4 carries or more, dude was getting nothing, legitimately.
Here's the one that really worries me. Average defenders he faced in the box, 51st, which isn't a good number. They only had 6.4 in there, which really tells you how shitty the offensive line is they could still play the pass and know that with 2 linebackers and 4 defensive linemen, we're going to stuff the shit out of this run.
Well, what's kind of interesting, too, about that is, to me, it talks about personnel, too. Because, with as much time as Brock Bowers missed, it was like they didn't even – their formations are just,
What'd they have for receiving weapons? Jack Besh?
Yep, they did. Jacoby Myers before the trade? I don't know. I mean –
remember when Deontay Thornton was going to be the next coming of Calvin Johnson or Randy Moss?
Let's put you on the spot here.
Yeah.
Hampton or Jeanty right now? Startup.
I'd go Jeanty over Hampton, just slightly. But like I said, Hampton has this opportunity, especially now being healthy here going into the playoffs. I know he didn't play the last week, but nobody on the Chargers, they rested their fucking guys. But he has the opportunity to play well in the playoffs and be like, that is...
especially given their current situation, knowing what's going to be back next year.
Exactly.
If he were to go off, okay, now we're cooking with gas.
If he does something really good in the playoffs, and then I'm like, well, the Raiders have to fix their offensive line.
They're only going to get way
better.
I
know the Chargers are fixing their offensive line. And their other tackle. God,
Control Alt Delete.
What's that? What was it? God damn it! My brain hurts.
Is it the bottle? from New Year's.
Yeah,
Stuff?
the Riesling is good, man. I had some.
Oh, you got Riesling right there.
Got a little Riesling. And you can tell I already.
I just had to get my wife a box of Riesling. She was requesting specifically.
Why is this man's name evading me?
Favorite portal how about favorite transfer portal so far?
Rashawn Slater. Jesus Christ, why was that so tough?
Thank you. Wait, what were you? I don't think we were. Did you say other tackle? That's not what I heard.
Yeah.
Okay.
Other tackle. You know, they lost Rashawn Slater before the season even fucking started.
Oh, I was completely sorry.
And then they lost Joe Alt. Yeah.
But their offensive line has been Slater, Alt is you lose both your tackles, buddy, and you have a good offensive line. It's a problem.
All old tackles too. We're not talking just some.
Alt I think is on pace. Long way to go, but on pace to be in some of the high.
You don't get a nickname like Joe Alt Delete without being pretty good at your job.
I mean, you could get the nickname, but to hold it and keep it, you got to be.
I guess you could if you were completely shit, because it's like just Joe Alt Delete this thing.
There you go. But
all right, favorite transfer portal move so far. I like this one. DB diving into college.
I haven't actually done enough digging on this. I have to actually let me do a little.
It is wild.
I know that's the other problem is it feels like it's ever minute changing.
Here's my
biggest
biggest problem.
Deep dive in X to get all the info on this.
Well, here's my biggest problem with the transfer portal. Okay, listen, I for sure have advocated a long time for college players, Division I athletes, men's basketball, football. They need to be paid. Okay, they need to be paid, and I've advocated it. And I thought NIL was going to be the greatest thing ever, and I do enjoy the fact that these kids can make life-changing money and set up their families and be rewarded for what they're doing. Right?
Get to the point, the juicy stuff we need to hear.
I am starting to have feelings, especially with this transfer portal, of doubt and that old man yelling at the clouds like, "Dude, what the fuck is this?"
But see, the problem is this was also inevitable. Like, it has to get to the wild west because, Mike, you've never done this before, right? You've never said it's okay. All this stuff used to be done under the table, right? It's basically like, hey, now you can just go into any massage joint, Mike, and it's all fair game. You have to come in and change something, right? This is not allowed, Mike. There's no. It's a circus out here. It's a complete circus. It is.
It's wild.
Dude, but it also makes. I think the other big problem is it kind of derodes, or I'm sorry, how about erodes?
Erodes. Devalues.
That too. But no, yeah, it's a ATMism. It doesn't make any sense. No, it takes away from the game as far as if you care about a school, right? Like you used to have to maybe 3 to 4 years. You remember these guys. Those days are over, buddy. Like. You have a totally separate team, coach, players, starters, in every single year. It's hard to, I think, have any type of serious fandom for a lot of these programs.
It is.
Well, outside of the really big, crazy perennial powerhouses.
Yeah, it is like if you had the NFL, but everybody only had 1-year contracts. You know what I mean?
But that's
what it is. That's what it is. So could you imagine if you had the NFL, but every single year it was like, is Joe Burrow going to be back in Cleveland or in Cincinnati? Or is he going to take this giant offer he's got to go to the Dolphins? Right? Like, what the fuck are we doing here? Like every single year, every player is up for fucking grabs. We can go anywhere the hell we want, whatever the hell we want. And that's what it feels like the transfer portal is right now.
Well, it also then, when it gets to this level of madness, it completely changes the high school recruiting process and what teams care about from that standpoint too.
That is also, there's been a couple stories that come out. I'm trying to think of the guy's name. Parker Livingston. He was Texas's wide receiver 3 this year. Like they're kind of slot guy, 3rd on the depth chart. Literally got told during this transfer portal, we don't want you back. Like a guy who played and started for the fucking team was just told because of our talks with other players coming in.
Yeah.
We don't want you here anymore. Your scholarship is not going to be honored. You're free to move on. And it's like, damn, now we're to the point, like, we got dudes that we offered scholarships, sat in their fucking parents' living room, told them Texas is going to take care of them. We're going to get them a degree from the University of Texas. And come be part of the family. And like the kid goes out there and plays and obviously played well enough to be number 3 on the fucking depth chart. Now in the era of the transfer portals being told, pack your shit, get the fuck out.
Number 3. Yeah. I mean, it's,
that's wild.
But I mean, in like basketball, for example, right? You have programs that they don't even recruit high school kids. Yeah. We're good. I'd rather have more seasoned veterans. So,
and
seasoned veterans when you have 4 years of eligibility.
It is good and bad at the same sense. Like we don't get a story like Indiana,
but
without the transfer.
Sure. But the problem is, Mike, balance in this game is, I think it's going to be almost impossible.
All right, so DB's question. Some of my favorites, my personal one.
DB's question.
Josh Hoover going from TCU to Indiana with Kurt Cignetti. Like, that is pretty awesome. I've seen what he's done with, obviously, Mendoza's a Heisman winner, right? Projected number 1 overall pick. They're in the college football playoff. Definitely, got a real shot of winning.
I didn't realize. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm listening.
But I like Josh Hoover at TCU. But it was like the Big 12. We're going to chuck the ball all over the fucking place. Has a little bit of problem being careless with interceptions, but his pass attempts is way the fuck up. But I think Josh Hoover is pretty talented. All things furry aside, too. That's also a great story. An active furry.
Mm-hmm.
Like posted pics, don't give a fuck. Different day and age. We talk about transfer portal. We also these kids out here just posting pictures in cat costumes, and they don't give a shit. Like, good on you, buddy. Do your thing. But him going in and playing with Cignetti next year and what he's done with quarterbacks so far, I'm like, damn, I thought this kid was pretty fucking talented. Now he gets to play with Cignetti and kind of get to see how he evolves. And now we have another candidate in the 27 draft potentially as another quarterback we can push up our ranks. That's exciting. And then the fact they went out and they got Marsh from Michigan State to pair with him as his number 1 wide receiver, which I love Marsh, and I thought he was fucking dying at Michigan State. Like, that is a do nothing, know nothing program. And for him to leave and go team up with Hoover is like, ooh, shit.
That's
kind of an exciting combination we got going on here.
I'm just realizing Quincy Porter went into the fucking portal, dude. Like,
yeah.
This is Ohio State's this is Ohio State's issue. Like, this was a top 10 fucking receiver.
Heartline.
To your point about the kid that's number 3, forget that. It's a top 10 receiver that's like, you know what? I've seen enough here. I'm out.
Peace. We'll see you later.
That's crazy, brother. That's crazy.
And my favorite one, DB, is going to be however the fuck this DeMond Williams situation plays out, because this is the most fascinating one by far to me. So DeMond Williams, very, very talented, highly recruited quarterback, played last year for Washington, probably about the only thing that made Washington relevant, like Denzel Boston, Jonah Coleman, DeMond Williams. That's why you went and watch Washington. I can't really name another fucking player on that entire team, but that's why you went. You went to watch that offense, running back, quarterback, and wide receiver. DeMond Williams re-signs his NIL contract with Washington just a day or two ago. Just to enter his name in the transfer portal. And now we're like, how does this work with NIL contracts and then enter your name in a transfer portal? So, interested to see how this plays out. But it also really feels like there's a certain new coach down in Baton Rouge that may have gotten in his ear and been like, "Want to come play in the SEC? We'll give you shit tons of money."
I'm kind of curious.
That contract.
I'm kind of curious to see what happens. Isaiah Canyon going to Georgia. But there's some crazy names in here, dude. Like, do you think there's any hope left for DJ Lagway after this last year? I mean, my God, it was so bad.
Yeah. His head coach at Florida, Billy Napier, was fucking dog shit terrible. And
I don't disagree. But it was also like, damn, like.
It was rough.
It was hard to watch, honestly, some of those games.
It was rough. Now, I feel like we value DJ Legway a lot higher because we see the talent and everything that came in and the size, right?
The
like
upside,
this Cam Newton fucking clone.
Yeah, the upside.
Literally, you see the upside. It also feels like he's not going to transfer up in program. At best, we're looking at a lateral move or a slight downgrade.
No, yeah. I mean, right. Because Florida's right on the precipice. I mean, yeah, it's
one of the ones I really love that kind of went under the radar for C2C folks and college football video game players is I loved Cam Cook when he was coming out at TCU. Cam Cook, the player. Didn't work out at TCU, had to transfer down schools, like to a unheralded, no one gives a shit school, right? Like off the map. Absolutely fucking nuked it while he was there this past year. And Cam Cook back into the Power Four, right? Going to West Virginia. So now Cam Cook back in the spotlight. I fucking love that, man. I love when the kids come back. They come back. Like, listen, didn't really work out for me when I was younger at a big club school.
I love it. The prodigal college player.
We go down, we play some lesser competition, we beat the shit out of them, we get our confidence up, and now we back in the Power Four, get ready to speak Mountaineer.
Do you guys think the Steelers can make a run? Not allowed to say no. Mike, do you think they can make a run before the second part of that?
So I can't say no.
Well, you're allowed to now. I'll give you permission.
No, you said not allowed to say no, so I'll get creative with it.
Oh. I actually wanted to hear Mike's real take. Okay. All right. Fair enough. That's not no.
Yeah. Was that an option on the Magic 8 ball?
Yeah, it was the 8 ball. Yeah.
Extremely unlikely.
Chances unlikely or something like that. Yeah. Actually, let's talk playoffs real quick, and then we'll get out of here.
Definitely.
Playoffs, Mike. Expectations, dark horses, and let's talk hard on your sleeve. I want all three.
Listen, we'll cross sports here real quick because I just want to break it. Big news. NBA. Atlanta Hawks traded away Trae Young.
It's been coming. Pause.
There you go.
Yeah. To and whom and what do we know?
To the Wizards.
That poor soul. They sent him to D.C., huh?
For some dudes, one dude that was good a couple years ago and one dude I remember watching at Gonzaga. That's about my claim to fame.
Damn.
All right.
They really want to move on. Okay.
There's your NBA news for the night. You're welcome. All right, NFL playoffs, Adam. The important stuff. Dark horses. How about that? Is that where you started?
Dark horse. Yep. Let's start there.
I've thought the Jaguars have been frauds all year.
That being said, they're playing well at the right time.
They're playing well at the right time, and I think they can beat the fucking Bills.
Dude, my butt. So shout out to my brother-in-law, Chris Womble. He loves the Bills, and he said, am I crazy that I think that we're going to lose the Jags this week? Not at all, sir.
Who the fuck had that on their bingo card?
But this is the weird thing. No Mahomes, right? It feels like the Bills have a huge opportunity as far as, coming out of the AFC. But, Mike, it's also weird because at the same time, I feel like this Bills team is not in the same – like, there's been years prior where I felt like, all right, this is the Bills that you could see make a run. This team feels inconsistent still.
Yes.
And I don't feel like they're – I want to see it, but I don't necessarily buy into the belief or that they're poised, so to speak, to make a huge run here.
So the reason I think the Jaguars for me are going to be the dark horse.
Okay.
Right? I think the Jaguars beat the Bills, obviously. But I also think the Chargers upset the fucking Patriots. As much as I love Drake May, I think the Chargers upset the Patriots, which means the Chargers then played the Jags. And the Jags fucking dog walk the Chargers, the injured Chargers, just because of the way the Jags are built around their defense and a very getting right at the right fucking time offense and the way they're playing. So all of a sudden we got the Jaguars in the conference title game. Holy shit. I did not see that one coming, especially for me being I think these dudes are frauds.
Yeah.
Guess not. Guess I'm the fraud.
Well, I mean, in you know what would be really interesting about that, though, is that, Mike, then they're playing at home until the championship AFC.
Yeah.
But all right, what do you give the Steelers in this game versus the Texans odds?
The Texans are one of the more fascinating ones. Like I can literally have a scenario where I say that the Texans win the Super Bowl, but I also have a scenario where that offense disappoints and actually loses a close game to the Steelers. Like they have a wide range of outcomes on there. Like I think they can win the fucking Super Bowl if that offense shows the fuck up. If it shows up with the way that defense plays, yes, the Texans absolutely can win the Super Bowl from the 5 seed. But they're not the most consistent on offense, which is crazy because I do think the two best teams in the entire conference on the AFC side are built very similarly. And I think the best two teams are the Broncos and the Texans, but both of them have highly fucking inconsistent offenses backed up by dynamite lockdown defenses.
So here's what I want to ask you. So your dark horse is the Jags. All right. Let's shift NFC now. All right. So we'll go hard on the sleeve, which
it feels weird to say this because they don't feel like they should be seated where they are. But the way the end of the season ended, and they had some moments where they kind of had hiccups. And they had to deal with an injury that was pretty significant. I think the fucking Rams on the NFC side are the team that I'm going to roll with as my dark horse to win that fucker.
They can't be a dark horse, can they?
That's what I said. Like, it doesn't feel like they, but they're the fucking 5 seed. Like, they got to play at least 2 road games.
No, they can't be a dark horse. They can't be a dark horse because, one, we know for all the reasons. I don't have to list them on. But, Mike, you had in the game, right? They lost that crazy game to Seattle, which took everything going wrong, including a 2-point conversion that I think Charbonnet didn't know he scored.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
But, Mike, then the Seahawks think about this. The Seahawks beat the Niners in a game they're playing for the 1 seed. The Niners are the 6 seed.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not forget this Rams or the dark horse thing, all right?
What are my choices then? Because obviously I can't say the Seahawks. I can't say the 49ers then. Like, that leaves me Panthers,
the
Eagles,
NFC, the NFC
Bears,
West. Yeah, the NFC West does not get they're off the dark horse list.
None of the other teams in there are good enough to win. It's the NFC West. How about that?
Really? So you think none of the other teams, including the Philadelphia Eagles, can win it?
Including the Philadelphia Eagles. Like, I will be an unbiased Eagles fan here when I tell you our offense is not fucking good enough to win.
Fair enough. What about this? Is there intrigue?
I fully expect to watch that game at 3:30 on January 11th and walk away almost in tears because our defense showed up. Our offense just couldn't fucking get it done.
Actually, Mike, hold on a second. By the way.
And I'm going to hate losing to fucking Brock Purdy and the goddamn 49ers.
This made me go back to the AFC. Because, no, if the Chargers beat the Pats, they would play the Broncos.
Oh, that's true. They reseed it and they go lower, which would set up one hell of a game between the Jags and Texans.
The Texans or Steelers.
Division game, Jags already got them. Listen. Yeah.
I'm with you still, though. I just wanted to make sure to go back to that point. I hadn't thought about that. Which to me is really interesting for Seattle because now, right, Seattle, they get the lowest seed, which gives a very good chance.
49ers
the
again?
Very good chance for it's the Niners or the Rams they play.
Yeah. Oh,
because unless the Packers happen to go, beat the Bears. Which I'm not going to, completely count that out.
I think by all accounts, you and I are very clear when we say I don't think the Panthers have a chance.
Jake.
Sorry, Jake.
We love you, buddy.
Come here. There's 0 chance.
Here we go. Panthers are beating the Rams because everyone thinks they're going to lose. Mike, well, here's the thing. The Panthers already beat the Rams. It just wasn't at SoFi.
Yeah.
Can I do it again?
No.
I'm saying no. But I will say for... Like this, to me, the reason I say not a dark horse, the Rams, without losing that game to Seattle, really, it's felt like this was their year, right? And the NFC West has been this. You look historically, I think it's probably gonna be one of the best finishes for 3 teams, for sure. So it's like I don't know. I have a hard time with them as a dark horse, but at the same point, as good as they've played, there's flaws. There's flaws. They find a way to lose some of these crazy games. They lost that game to the Niners. McVay went for it, right, earlier in the year?
Yeah, where they lost to the fucking Mac Jones fully depleted.
Yep. They lost that.
They lost to the Eagles on a Jordan Davis block kickoff kick.
That was
block
crazy.
Field goal return early in the season.
I think the NFC is the hardest to pick, buddy, because I think, Mike, there's 4 teams that could come out of this division. I'm not writing the Bears off. I think they're really inconsistent too, but their ability to adapt and win in different ways makes me feel like that I can't count them out completely. I would put them 4th on my list, but I would say I also don't believe even with the bye and with the home field advantage, I don't see Seattle going to the Super Bowl. Do you? Shocking. I know you're a Darnold affiliation,
No.
but
If I had to rank them, I'd say Rams. Rams, Niners. I would then go Seahawks, then
Great.
Eagles, then Bears, then Packers, then Panthers.
Okay. I got Rams, Niners in like tier 1. Then I go Seattle. Then I go Chicago. Then I go Philly. Man, Packers and Panthers kind of same.
The biggest problem I have with Chicago is not only is their offense very inconsistent, and it depends on how Caleb wants to play and whether or not they can run the football. That defense is not good, and it has been propped up all year just on the fact they get a lot of takeaways, which isn't a very sticky thing, especially when you come to playoff time.
It isn't, but at the same point, there's a yin and yang thing sometimes in football, and it's like they have found a way to get a takeaway when they've needed it most. And even you look at the game, they're fucking, a play on the goal line away from beating the Niners right there. So like
they are.
I think they're very much in realistic opportunity here, especially because, Mike, I mean, they're probably going to play at home until the NFC title game if they were to go there too. So that I think only helps. Although I could totally see the scenario while saying that where you're like, fuck, Ben Johnson lost his first, playoff game as a Bears coach to the Packers. And we've seen this how many times before?
Let's see how wrong I am on this, but I got Seahawks, Rams in the second round. And I got Niners at Chicago, second round. Rematch of a couple weeks.
Wow.
And then on the AFC side, I'm going to say, give me, I like what you said. Give me Jags, Texans, and Broncos, Chargers.
I like that too. Let me say this though. I'm gonna. I think it's very possible, but I'm gonna go ahead and say I think it's gonna be Pats, Jags. I think Steelers, Broncos.
Steelers, huh?
I do.
You believe.
I do.
Your dad's gonna love that, man.
He's gonna love when I jinx the hell out of him because that's what I'm best at,
Adam's finally converted. All it took was the Browns being the Browns, and he's finally converted over to Pittsburgh Steelers. Man. You gonna play a little renegade?
No, I mean, it's because as good as I think the Texans are at times, I think they're very inconsistent.
I like it. Merck is on here making bets too. If the Steelers make it to the Super Bowl, we owe him 10 push-ups live on there.
Well, let's not get crazy. They're not making it to the Super Bowl.
I'll take this bet though, Merck. Okay, listen, for the people, for you.
I'll happily
do.
Steelers
10, make it to the Super Bowl. Sure. I will do 10 push-ups on this stream with my shirt off.
Wow,
you like that,
Merck? Are you sure you want this anymore?
You usually got to pay extra for that.
And then Mike, let me ask you this: Super Bowl gut feel. Last question. Who do you think?
At the end of the day, I'm going to go Broncos. Give me Broncos, Rams, Super Bowl.
I'll tell you, man, it's so weird because, like, I have a hard time buying into the Denver thing. But the AFC as a whole is just so convinced me to buy into any one of those teams more so. That's the weird thing.
Do you feel better about the AFC teams or do you feel better about the NFC teams as a whole?
Like right now, I would take the NFC West ahead of the AFC for sure.
Okay.
What do you think?
I'm big on the AFC. Now, really? I know head-to-head this season, like people will pull up records of when NFC teams played AFC teams, and I'm pretty sure the NFC teams came out ahead more times, and by a pretty decent margin.
Right.
Just watching football throughout the year, like I feel that the AFC is a much more complete,
really
top to bottom, good fucking teams. I mean, you got the goddamn Bills sitting at the 6th seed, Josh Allen.
The Rams and the Niners.
I know, but listen, if you told me the Bills had to play the 49ers right now, Bills mop the fucking floor with the Niners, in my opinion. 6th seed versus 6th seed.
Nobody's mopped the floor with the Niners this year, actually.
You told me, I mean, if you just matched up seeds, right? Pats play the Bears. Pats kill the Bears. Chargers play the Packers. Chargers kill the Packers. Bills play the 49ers. Bills mop the floor with them. Jags, Eagles. I'm biased. Be a good game.
The Jags, easy. They'd mop the floor, right?
Steelers play the Panthers. The Steelers kill the Panthers. Texans play the Rams.
You don't believe that.
Good game. Good game. Broncos play the Seahawks. Broncos will kill the fucking Seahawks.
You like the Rams to win it all, damn near. You're like, there'll be a great game with the Texans?
It'd be a great game with the Texans. That'd be a fantastic game. I'll give you two close matchups.
Why do you hate the NFC with the Eagles in there? That part's a little confusing.
Listen,
I get a lot of your other narratives, right? The Brock Purdy thing. They have storylines that make sense. This one doesn't.
If the Eagles aren't on top and clearly leading it, the NFC's fucked. Okay?
Makes sense.
We're not.
Okay.
We're a middling team at best.
I don't know. I feel very. I'm much more into the NFC as a top to bottom.
Merck's gonna be hot and bothered if I take my shirt off and do push-ups, and he's also recorded you saying the Steelers win, and it's his ringtone now. So,
dude, honestly,
it's too late.
You're making my. You know how as a kid, how much you were like, man, what if I had a ringtone? It was me, right? Like when you're a young kid. Now I have a ringtone, buddy. You know?
You do, and everybody's gonna think you're Barry White. You're a brother.
And you know what the worst part is? I'm going to be saying that I got the Steelers to fucking, after they get gouged by, they're going to get absolutely gaped by the fucking Texans. The issue, I think, is going to be, the Texans could absolutely get after Rodgers, but Tomlin in those type of games is just, he doesn't let you get, there'll be a lot of quick dump off, so I don't know. I have a feeling it's going to be an ugly, not that fun game to watch.
We also said, like, I had zero hopes for that Sunday night game between the Ravens and the Steelers, and the first half was like, oh, this is everything I didn't dream of.
Sure.
That second half of football might have been the most entertaining fucking game I think I watched all fucking year.
Well, dude, it was an awesome finish. I mean, I will say one of my favorite parts of that though is, Mike, I'm sitting there rooting for both teams to lose, right?
Yeah.
And knowing you can't, that's not how it works. But the kickers, damn it. They tried. They tried
their best
to lose it for both teams. It's amazing. Like, it's amazing that Harbaugh's fired. Like, Lamar made the drive exactly what you want to. A 44-yard field goal in today's day and age is just a chip shot almost.
Yep. It's
damn near an extra point.
Yeah. Oh. And then to miss it wide right, just like Boswell missed the extra point, was.
They have a nice little, X is honestly becoming more toxic than it ever has been, which is hard to believe because it's, to me, been, toxicity's crazy. But
this is just me because, listen, I get trapped in this shit on X all the time.
I don't know that it's just you for whatever that's.
But my algorithm gets completely fucked, right? So listen, you get the toxic stuff coming out of the Ravens game with the Tyler Loop and the fiance and fans being absolutely ridiculously cruel. Like, listen, stop that shit. But you also understand in today's day and age that shit's gonna happen regardless. So whatever. My algorithm is so fucked though because I happen to click on one post with this goddamn grok and the AI fucking pictures with all these thoughts on here.
Not buying it.
All these thoughts on here being like,
I've seen your clicks.
Put me in a bikini. All right. So I click on one, and then what's it do? The algorithm knows. It's like he clicked on one. Yeah. Let's see if we get a second one. And god damn it, you're gonna get every fucking one from here on out. Listen, if you're semi good looking and you put on fucking on Twitter, put me in a bikini and have AI do it, I'm gonna look. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look.
Mike, and they're not even gonna be real. Mike's gonna be staring.
No. No, I'll be staring. So that is all my timeline right now. It is like transfer portal news, some NFL shit, some bad fantasy takes.
But those are like the teams that are gonna get crushed in the playoffs. We all know the front runner is definitely Grok right now, for sure.
Just filled with fake bikini ass up and down.
What the thing on X is like, so they're like, poor Harbaugh. He was trying to console the kicker, like, little did he know he's fucking getting canned in about 10 minutes,
Yeah, Mark ain't wrong. I'm on the AI section of the hub now.
That sounds awful.
That sounds fantastic.
Sounds awful. Absolutely terrible.
I'm gonna be the easiest person in the world to catfish. That shit looked real to me.
Damn, dude. This is what happens. I had a good final
Closer.
question and completely gone.
Ruined.
I have no idea actually. Like I'm completely not even close to the ballpark of what I was going to ask to finish. So fuck it. I guess we'll be back next week with more questions. If you have, to answer more of your questions if you have them, make sure you bring a lot of those, AI grok questions. You're not the only one apparently that doesn't know.
That's how we're going to do thumbnails, right? I'm going to take full body shots. I'm going to have Grok put me in a bikini, and we'll put that as a thumbnail. See how many people show up. Trust me. It's like fishing, man. Got him. All right? It's easy. It's easy.
Easy as 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, they got me.
Well, that's what I was going to say. We don't have any, no recap this Sunday. Mike, what are you thinking for the offseason? That's what it was going to be. I was trying to get it. I knew it was something like not really serious, but bigger picture goals or something. And Mike's like, hit me with the grok. I'm like, I have no idea what I was going to say. What are your goals for the offseason? What are your talking points or thoughts on the offseason, buddy?
Well, one thing I'm definitely going to do, I'm going to dive into warp takeaways for the season and how to adjust and try to plan for the future, right? And we're going to look at some historical data. And I'm telling you, this year was horrible for fucking quarterbacks. Absolutely horrendous.
I mean, the crazy part was I was expecting somewhat of a resurgence of some degree, and honestly, it didn't really happen at all. Especially because in the championship games or playoffs, right? The guys that were not high on the warp chart were better, so it made it even more mudded.
And then in the immediate future, Adam, we got a little mock draft Mondays going to be making a comeback, right? So if you like the totality of the NFL draft, you want to be entertained by that.
Mock draft Mondays.
And then obviously rookie scouting. We're going to be doing a lot of it. We're going to be doing a lot of film watching in the Discord, patreon.com/South Harmon. But Adam too, I'm gonna start to do a couple solo videos here. Just Mike's thoughts on the rookie class and the outlook for it, and we'll see how wrong I am. Okay, last year we did the draft guide. It was everybody's work, right? So you could point out, these guys as a whole were wrong. Listen, if I'm going to be wrong this year, there's only one person to blame. You can go back, link me the video and be like, what a great take, dumbass.
Put it on the chain, baby. Put it on the chain. I love that.
But if I'm right, I give you another Jaden Daniels or Sam Laporta. Listen, I don't ask you to judge me on my losers because I have so few. Actually, I have a fuck ton.
But they all get overshadowed by when you hit a home run slam dunk like those guys. I mean, they can cast a wide shadow over the misses. I like that. So
those are the plans for the offseason. Really dive into it. And then, of course, listen, I love startups. I love startups to death. And this one's going to be fascinating coming off of a historically terrible quarterback warp season. I've already seen some early startups that people are doing. Some early leagues are firing off. We're talking like 3, maybe 4 quarterbacks in the first round of the Dynasty Superflex startup. Holy shit.
This guy doesn't want to get on 4D chess again. I told you this was coming.
Yeah, he did.
Told you this was coming. I actually didn't necessarily believe it to this degree, but I could see it getting louder. It got louder. Yeah, I'm with you. I think this offseason, Mike, I'm gonna definitely get back to doing highly detailed. I think I want to go over, if you want to get better or you want to improve on different aspects of playing Dynasty, that's kind of what the basis of it is going to be. Like, I think we all have our strong suits and things that we're not as good at, and trying to improve on the things that we suck at. And the first part of that is actually going through and saying, oh shit, I should have done better at this. I could have done better at this. This was either I ignored it or I'm just not good at it, and kind of go over those things. So that's going to be one thing for me. And then the other thing I think is going to be, Mike, going into this offseason, I'm kind of curious from a strategic standpoint. I'd love to get other people's feedback on this too, but like going into this year, you were just talking about quarterbacks. I think we're kind of potentially going to be entering the weirdest point where cross-positionally it might be the most madness we've ever seen. Like, the running back resurgence was insane, right? Despite wide receivers outside of a few really disappointing, market's crazy high on them. And then the quarterbacks with the dip, it's like, I could see complete madness as far as the way people are approaching their build. So I think from a strategy standpoint, that's what I'm curious to see what the market does and what people are going to try to do to counteract that. Because I think we might be going into the weirdest startup time we've ever had, honestly.
Yeah, which is saying something, because I remember some of my first ones where we had, running backs going first and second overall. Barkley, CMC
two, 3 of them before Mahomes and those guys went, right?
Yeah.
Lamar. Yeah, it was crazy.
Lamar like the 109 at best. Those were the days. Those were the days.
But I don't know. I think that's to me going to be the focal points of this offseason. I'm definitely going to get lots of get in the lab, do some solos,
Hell yeah, buddy. And then, of course, looking forward to the draft time. Adam and I got some stuff in the works. We're going to hash out some stuff. But, the rumors were floated out there a while back about maybe I make the old trip out to old Ohio. And for the first time in history, we have a draft stream in person. You want to see some fucking push-ups getting done, Merc? All right?
Dude, listen, you give him some sauce, you give him, Ohio, it's happening, buddy. Let's put the push-ups. Let's do it.
Hell yeah, man. I think that'd be a good time. So something to keep in mind, draft stream down the road. And we'll see what our good sponsors do. We got
I was going to say, don't sleep
shit.
on that stream, because last year somebody slept on a helmet and it cost them dearly.
They did. And, of course, Adam, he's coming back with the merch. This one arrived this week. This is clean as fuck. But I got to remember I'm not a 340-pound fucking slob anymore, because when I see stuff that is white, Adam, I think about all the pizza sauce.
Oh, yeah. Be mindful with the cream clean. One, it looks good. It looks real good. How's clean. It's fitting nice and nice.
Oh, it's fitting nice. So this is a nice XL. I do think I can pull off a large.
The L's coming soon. I think
the L, because I got on some sweatpants that are larges, and let me just tell you, oh baby, you put on the large sweatpants. I'm like, damn boy.
Yeah, we've entered.
Save some for the rest of them.
Mike's going AI Grok. The large pants. Oh.
The large.
Dude, those larges, they can start showing some things,
They're showing some things, that's for sure.
Well, we've showed quite a few things. Not enough, but maybe next week, Mike, we come back and, raise the stakes. What do you say? A little push-ups, potential booze? I'm on it.
Let's do it, bud. Let's do it, man. I'll go get a couple of new bottles. See if we pop some off.
I love it. We'll sauce it up, and make sure you bring some questions. Other than that, we're off for recap, but we'll see you back here, same time, same place, in the same but different year. We're out of here. Peace.
Yes, sir. Peace.